morning to all in the reach of my voice. It's another beautiful day right here in Jamaica land we love. And it's sad that I have to start with a but this morning. But certainly, while we appreciate how picturesque and how beautiful the space called Jamaica is, there's always so much trepidation, so much issues that we have to grapple with. And all of us hearts sunk sometimes last week, just the eve of Mother's Day, when we received that very horrific news about young Kasian, and indeed it is such a frightening experience once again. But that's the name is actually Kelsey Ferrigon, all right? Kelsey Ferrigon. So young Kelsey Ferrigon, beautiful and promising young girl, just 9 years old. We lost her to a warped mind, because we can describe it as nothing less. But we will be getting into that and much more as we get into the meat of your program, your mid-morning number one fix right here in radio, straight up with yours truly, CONRAD O'Brien. I'm here Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 a.m. until 12 midday. Welcome again to Straight Up. It's Monday, the 12th day of May, 2025. We're coming to you live from the studios of News Talk 93 FM right here at UWI Mona campus in the parish of St. Andrew, Jamaica. The numbers to call are 876-212-9824, 876-462-0919. To listen to us on your smartphones and device, please go to the Apple or Google Play Store and download the News Talk 93 FM app. We also stream live via www.newstalk93fm.net. To advertise with us, please call our sales agent at 876-427-9955. You can also send us an email at our sales department at newstalk93fmsales@gmail.com. Indeed, where are we going with the program this morning? Coming up at 9:35, we'll be having an interesting discussion with a parent of a young child, just 4 years old, who is scheduled to do a surgery here, at the University of the West Indies Hospital. And indeed, the cost of it is all of $1 million. And, I think I'd be correct to say that the parents may be finding difficulty to even find the first 2 cents to knock against each other. So we'll be talking to the mother of that youngster there. We will share more information as we go into the program. And indeed, at 10:10 a.m. this morning, we will be talking to Professor Floyd Morris. Professor Morris is indeed a senator, opposition senator, and he is the spokesperson or shadow minister, if you prefer, of housing. So we'll be talking to him about the PNP's program of basically improving the housing stock, and look at the past record of the PNP and where are they going into the future in terms of making housing more affordable for the masses of our people. So, we'll talk to Prof. Morris about that. So stick and stay with us for all of that. And certainly after that discussion with Prof. Morris, we will be taking your calls. And I did give you the numbers, so you can store these numbers, 876-212-9824. This morning, we're up on various platforms. You can also join us on the CONRAD OB TikTok page. And remember now, I'm seeing expression already for person to be asking to be bring up on for to participate. I'm unable to take you up on the TikTok page like that, but the numbers are available. So if you wish to participate when we open the phone lines, then please call the numbers 876-212-9824, 876-462-0919. You can also send us an WhatsApp, and preferably the WhatsApp number that I'd like you to send a message on. It's 876-594-7045. All right, that's a little bit more convenient. So we'll happy to take your WhatsApp messages on that number. That said, all right, and it's also on Monday, so we stream live with our partners, Fit FM, Caribbean Vibes Radio, and the Wayne Hall Network. We're also up on the Mek Wi Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. So a lot of offerings there this morning to join us. So we crave your indulgence. And indeed, you can give us some top up and some likes on the CONRAD OB TikTok page there, and let us feel the love and the happiness that you are always able to give us. Let me say hi to my moderator in the TikTok space, Andrea Abo. She is there. And indeed, it's your program. So stick and stay with me for the duration of the program. I'm here in studio with my producer, Tanya Richards, as we continue to do the people's business. All right? We have one constituency, and that constituency is the people of Jamaica. I often said to people that what happened, we have one government at a time. So therefore, the spotlight will be on the present government, whether it is good or it is bad. It's part of the territory you have to swing with the moment. All right. Let's get straight into my editorial piece, CONRAD's Take. It is now 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. And this morning, I want to start to remind Jamaica that we're in the year 2025 and it's election 2025. The politics in Jamaica is certainly a very, very dynamic space where people defend their politics with a lot of vigor and vitality. A lot of people are, prepared to lose even friendship, long-last friendship during election period. There's absolutely no need for that. What we need to do is to look at the facts, look at the credible information, and treat it accordingly, and make your decision based on that. I'm saying that this morning because it seems to me that there are some ugly things that are raising its head. Even a call that I received this morning. And it's just sad to hear the utterance that came from that individual mouth. Meted out to me. But I won't put myself out there in the front and center because the program is never ever about CONRAD or BRIEN. It's about the Jamaican people and what we want for Jamaica. But suffice it to say that there are calls that I receive from time to time, and they are not the most palatable. But God is my refuge and my strength. And I ask those of you who are out there who are prayer warriors to keep me in your prayers. Keep me in your prayers. I crave your indulgence in that regard. So, I want to make a plea, a very passionate plea to my brothers and sisters to just cool it. Just cool it. As they say out the road, just cool. All right? And, there are little things that can set fire ablaze, so to speak, such as going into various constituencies, removing opponent billboards, and those kind of things, which there's no need for it. Removing someone's billboard doesn't prevent the person from winning an election. So let's again just call it. Let me segue into the gruesome attack. Well, before I go there, let me just say that the media space, social media landscape, there are a plethora of things out there. This whole business of land ownership, land distribution, there are so many things that are out there, allegations. I have to be careful how I navigate the discussion, but certainly I can ask the question in a way that will not impugn anyone's character or indeed put myself in any form of jeopardy. So stick and stay with me. Conrad O'Brien, the fireman. The front page of the Observer this morning is carrying a picture of Prime Minister Holness embraces Georgia Anderson, the mother of 9-year-old Kelsey. They said Kelsey Anderson, but that's a typo there, I would imagine, because that's not her last name, but I'll get to that, who was brutally murdered on Friday. And young mother here with her head down, and it goes on to say, painful Mother's Day. And this is it. Am I wicked? That is how the mother of Giovanni Ellis accused of allegedly raping and killing 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon, describe her son and what was a painful Mother's Day for her yesterday. And let's just say that it's an allegation that it is this young man who have committed the act. He is still at large as far as we know, and we're asking him to turn himself over to the police so that justice can prevail. The community is certainly in grief, and for too long, our children continue to go through this pain. The deliberation have been taking place for some time now about how do we deal with the sex offender registry. And I think its time has come, because as the mother said, the mother of the young Kelsey said that the young man was in the community, ostensibly her neighbor, and she wasn't aware that he was a sex offender and he was out on bail. So how do we protect our children and indeed our women folk, and in some cases our boys, because there are some persons who indulge in these heinous acts of rape and so on. They are also involved in buggery, which is illegal here in Jamaica as well, even as an adult. So it behooves us to ask the question and to put that in the domain. You know, should someone who is being let loose or put back into the communities? Should the community be notified? I know that there are some constitutional issues there to deal with, because let's say someone is out on bail, the person is an accused. However, he or she has not gone through the process of trial and convicted as a criminal, because from time to time we use the term loosely to describe someone who has not been convicted of a criminal charge of calling that person a criminal. So it's a very, very, very thin line as to how we navigate that. However, I think that once the conviction has taken place, that is to say the person has been charged and found guilty, I believe that the community should be so advised about the person coming back into the various community. And the students at St. John's Primary and the teachers there, one can just imagine what they're going through this morning. The mourning, the grief, and I'm hoping and praying that, as is somewhat customary, the school and the community at large will be given the necessary attention as it relates to grief counseling. I remember Patricia Duncan Sutherland, candidate for this very constituency that we broadcast from, Eastern St. Andrew, for the PNP and the PNP Women's Movement President. She said that Jamaica needs an army of social workers. And I could not agree with her more. Because in this case, for example, social workers upon social workers are needed within the community space and also within the school community as well. And this is even more germane before an act like this is committed, because what you would have is that body being in place so we could prevent, and maybe had we had that kind of rollout before, we probably would not be discussing that this morning. We'll pick up on that and more throughout the program. That's CONRAD's take. Let's go to the 9:30 break.
Good morning, Jamaica. This is Mark Golding. Here's what's on my mind this morning. The fact that corruption is draining our future, and the truth is, most Jamaicans feel it, because nearly 66% of us believe it's worse now than it was 5 years ago. I believe trust must be earned, not demanded. And as Prime Minister, I will make integrity the standard, not the exception. That's why in April 2023, I tabled the impeachment bill in Parliament, because no elected official should be above accountability. Sadly, the current government has failed to look at that legislation, even though it was one of Andrew Holness's 100-day promises for the 2016 JLP election campaign. Anyway, don't worry. When the PNP forms the next government, that bill will become law. I will also look at introducing a recall system so that delinquent elected leaders who betray the people's trust can be removed by the people without having to wait years till the next election happens. Accountability is essential to building trust and confidence. But this isn't just about politics. The corruption at the top is part of a bigger problem, the moral decay in our society. It's reflected in how we treat each other, the callousness, the lack of respect, the everyday cruelty we see and hear about, the indifference to others that we've come to accept. That's why I plan to launch a national effort, not a political one, for Jamaica's spiritual and moral upliftment. It will be led by civic and spiritual leaders who have credibility and heart, not politicians. But the next PNP government will support it and protect it, because rebuilding our values must be a national mission. True leadership means being accountable to the people, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. And when we raise the bar together, we rebuild trust. And that trust is the foundation for real progress and real change. Trust must be earned. And under my leadership, that process will begin. Time come, Jamaica.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a change, you see the next election here will come up under no circumstances whatsoever can you vote in back the Jamaica Labour Party into government.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a change, you see the next election here will come up under no circumstances whatsoever.
Welcome back to Straight Up right here and News Talk 93 FM. My name is CONRAD, the fireman. We go up until 12 midday as we continue to broadcast live from the studios here of News Talk 93 FM, right here at UWI Mona campus. It's indeed Monday, the 12th day of May, and we're simulcasting with our friends this morning at Fit FM, Caribbean Vibes Radio, and the Wayne Hall Network. We're also live on the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel, and indeed, you can also join us on the CONRAD OB TikTok page there. Lots of offerings this morning, so stick and stay with us. It's that time of the morning. It's now 9:34, and we're going to be conducting an interview as we continue to do our duty as a media outfit, where we look at the humanitarian issues that confront some of our people. And indeed, you know, it's a sad commentary again on the health system here in Jamaica. Just a couple of weeks ago, I have a friend in Canada, and she had to do a surgery. And the thing was just so smooth. There was no cost, no nothing. Had that surgery done, didn't have to suffer the pain or anything. An adult person, all right, as I say hi to Michelle. And here is it in Jamaica. Our youngsters, and this is not the first time we receive a call, I think from St. Thomas some time ago, where a child there who had some disability issue needs some attention, and even when reaching out to the Ministry of Health for the compassionate grant, you know, the parents said that they were not so afforded. But this morning, we have online Melissa Blake, the mother of Tequine Foster, who is scheduled to do a brain surgery at the University of the West Indies Hospital. And we gather that that surgery is about $1 million or more. We have Miss Blake online, mother of the young 4-year-old, to talk to us about the issues or the difficulties that she is facing. Hi, Miss Blake. Welcome to Straight Up, man. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, I'm hearing you. You have to move away from the radio that you're listening to, Miss Blake, because it's coming back at me. You have to move away from the radio, or turn that down. All right. While she fix that, we wait on that. So, Miss Blake. Yes. All All right, we await her to get that
What's
under
the
control.
name?
Morning. I'm hearing, turn off the instrument that you have in the background because I'm unable to conduct to
Can you
go.
hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you now. All right, so welcome to Straight Up, Miss Blake, and we share your grief, and we sympathize with you on the situation with your son, Tiquane.
Yes.
So
Queen.
talk to us about the issues that you're facing. I gather that he had a surgery sometime before at the Bustamante Hospital for Children. Walk us through that, and then we segue into what is the present situation with him.
Okay. Yeah, he has a surgery at Bustamante Hospital in March. It began. I sent him to school on a Tuesday. I was at work. I got a call from the teacher.
And that's March of this year. March of this year, right?
Yes. That he has an headache and he was vomiting. But upon going to the school, I recognized he had a fall. One of his classmates pushed him over to do boom flick.
Oh.
And from that boom flick, his head was turned to the left. He could only able to see from the right eye. So I bring him to a private doctor to get a referral to do a scan, CT scan.
Yes.
Upon doing that, I went to Oasis in Spanish Town and I did that scan. And they recognized that there was fluid in his brain and there was a tumor. The Bustamante controlled the fluid in his brain, so he has intuitions. So the next surgery they want to do now is to take out the tumor and to send it for testing. And that's supposed to be done he's supposed to be admitted on the 25th of this month.
The 25th of this month, just around the corner there.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so
the surgery is over $1 million.
So you're saying that your child was perfectly okay. He went to school, and as young children do, they were playing and engaged in some acrobatics there, a flick.
Right.
And he fell on his head?
Yes.
He fell on his head, and since then, he developed this complication.
Yes, started vomiting, and he was vomiting before, but he wasn't having belly pain or headache. And after the fall at school, that's when we recognized that something else is going on. So if it wasn't for the fall that he got at school, then maybe we would know what's really going on inside.
Oh, so what happened? The issue was there before with him, but the fall had actually take you to the doctor, and based on testing now, then those things were revealed. So, so the tumor or whatever he's suffering from now, it's not necessarily from the fall. It was there, but okay.
It was there.
It was there. So now
I'm not sure about the fluid in his brain, if it's from the fall. Yeah.
All right,
he has intuitions.
Yes. Go ahead.
The is taking the fluid from the brain to the abdomen. Yeah.
Okay. So the surgery is scheduled for when surgery is scheduled for?
The admission is supposed to be the 25th of this month.
The 25th of this month.
Sunday.
Yeah. And it's at the University of the West Indies Hospital, right?
Right. Yes.
And there is a compassionate grant that is available through the Ministry of Health. Have you reached out to see if you can get any assistance there?
I don't know how to, but I was trying to get some advice
how to do so.
Because I heard about the surgery on Friday of last week.
Okay.
It will be closed over the weekend, so I need to do that.
All right. Well. So there are many legs that you're approaching this thing from. So you're now calling on Jamaicans at home and abroad to to display their kindness and compassion and see what they can do in terms of assisting you to make up this $1 million for the surgery. Where are you with this, Miss Blake? I know that you may be having your own difficulties, or is there any portion of the money that you have already garnered, this $1 million, or you're totally out of pocket?
I'm totally out of cash because I can't work because of the issue with my child over 3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot work. And I have a GoFundMe set up yesterday.
You set that GoFundMe up yesterday, and you were telling me about something with Caroline Brown at CVM.
Got somebody to do it for me from overseas.
Someone overseas. And hold on, and that's Caroline Brown that do a number of these things. Caroline Brown of CVM TV.
Yes.
Good. So the GoFundMe account is now up. It was set up overseas. However, persons from anywhere can contribute to that GoFundMe account, eh?
Sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you, well, it's just set up yesterday, so probably you have not seen any expression to date as yet, but go ahead and share with Jamaicans, both at home and abroad, or anybody across the world who would want to contribute to this GoFundMe account for young Tiquain.
Can you repeat that for me?
Go ahead and share how people can go about contributing to this GoFundMe account for young Tiquain, 4-year-old who has brain surgery to be conducted at the University Hospital, causing in excess of $1 million.
Okay, what I did is, like, the person that set it up for me, they just send me the link, so I just send it to persons on my WhatsApp, and they will send out to other persons.
Good, but there is a link. So tell listeners the link, what the link is, where they can go to find this link, and in order to make a contribution.
Hold on a minute, let me check my phone.
Yes. All right. So we're talking to the mother of young.
And and maybe if the person don't have access to the link, I have an MCB account also.
Yes. So share with us the various avenue that people can contribute.
So the link is https:/realhelpinghand.com.
All right. What you do, send me that link, to how to reach me. Send me the link so I can repeat it. All right? I can repeat it. And the NCB account, what's the NCB account number and the branch? Give us the detail.
Yes, I'll send them on your WhatsApp.
No, do it now. Give us the NCB information, and you can also send it to me so we can have it on hand to repeat.
All right. My account number is 854-359-037.
And that's NCB. And that's NCB. What's the name of the account there? Melissa Blake. All right. So, listeners, if you want to contribute, there's a local account at the NCB. Which branch is it at? Christiana Manchester. All right. So you can contribute. I think that you can make a contribution from any of the branches, and you may be able to even do some amount of online transfer there. So we will repeat that, and indeed we're asking persons to give even your widow's mite, because certainly this young boy, very promising youngster, and who was just active up and about, and now this discovery has revealed. So we're asking you to be compassionate and do whatever you can. As the saying goes, even a widow's mite, or in Jamaica here we have a local saying, one cocoa full basket. So how is he doing at the moment? How is young Tiquain doing at the moment?
He's doing great. Just as he always say, "Mommy, I don't want to sick again." So he's scared of the injection and all that.
Yes. And we have excellent health professionals here in Jamaica, but the system in terms of how we get these things done, I can't see a 4-year-old from a poor home why they should have a condition like this to be dealt with, and there isn't provision in place for that to take place. We have to fix the system. We have to get this system fixed, and whichever party formed the government of Jamaica, these are the progressive things that we must look at. It's hard to have a young child, even an adult even, but at this time we're talking about a young child, a 4 years old, who will have to be suffering. Mother have to be out there setting up a GoFundMe account, literally begging and so on to get a surgery like this done, or any other kind of medical assistance done. It is certainly a place that we need to move away from. I don't have the answers, but certainly I believe that we can do much better than this as a country to ensure that our people are certainly at a better place. Any other information that you want to add, Ms. Blake, as we continue to make the plea? Any passionate call that you want to make, just talk to Jamaica in your own voice, your own word, what you're expecting of them.
Okay, I just want Jamaica to just help me, so the surgery can be done, and just help me pray, because I know prayer works.
Yes. So you're asking, it's a two-legged approach that you're asking for. You're asking for those persons who pray, or everyone to have him in their prayer. And at the same time, you're asking for a contribution, because the saying goes that, without works, then certainly faith is dead, something of that nature. I'm probably not having it right there. Our faith without work, something is dead. So we're asking persons to basically make a contribution while you keep young Shaquin in your prayer. All right. His mother, she's originally from Manchester, northeast Manchester, in the Christiana Spalding area there. But where you residing now, Miss Blake? In Portmore?
In Portmore.
You're now residing in Portmore. All right. Have you ever try and reach out to any of the political representatives to see if there's anything that they can do?
No, I was planning to do all of that today, because on Friday when I went to University Hospital, I found out all of that.
Which constituency you're in? Who is the member of parliament where you live now? I know that in Manchester you would be in Audley's constituency, and Volwint is the caretaker there.
I'm not sure, because I recently live in the area.
Okay, recently moved in. All right, but I myself will continue to push. I'll talk to whoever I can to see if whatever contribution they're able to make. It's no political season. The election campaign is in the air, so maybe it's a season of giving. So persons can, and let's make the call. We're also calling on the opposition leader, Mark Jefferson Golden, Marky G, to give a contribution. And we're also calling on Prime Minister Andrew Holness to give a contribution. It is not just when we have murders committed that we want to see people turn up and so, but we want to ensure that they do things that can save a life as well. So I'm making this passionate plea this morning on Prime Minister Holness and Opposition Leader Mark Golden to give a little contribution, whatever they can, to this fund to raise $1 million for young Shaquin Fraser. Sequin Foster. Yeah. So he can basically have this surgery done. We will be talking more about this, Miss Blake, and certainly we're happy that we're able to basically put it out there in the forefront so that he will get some assistance. I'm hearing him in the background there. Let me say hi to him.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to young Shaquille. Let me say hi to him. If he
Pardon
can,
me?
say hi to him.
Say hi. Say hi, Jamaica.
Hi, Shaquille. We're praying for you. You're on the radio.
Jamaica.
Good. It's so nice to hear your voice, Shaquille. We're praying for you. You're on the radio. And you will be fine. All right. So hug mommy and kiss her. And mommy love you and Jamaica love you as well. All right.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye. Bright. You hear his voice there. So sweet. The voice of the 4-year-old there, young Shaquille Foster. We are once again making the plea that you assist as best as you can. I'll share the information with you, the account number, and of course, the link that you can go to and make your contribution on the GoFundMe account. All the best, Miss Blake. God bless you, ma'am. Take care.
Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
You're most welcome. All right, so there you have it. Let's see how that will pans out. Our people here in Jamaica, irrespective of what you want to you hear, we have people here who are giving people, who are caring people, and whenever these things happen, the diaspora normally poured in with a lot of help. So we're hoping that, in short order, this $1 million would be achieved. And again, reaching out to the Ministry of Health. I know that the persons within the government listens to this program and so on. So you can also reach out there. And let me just share Miss Blake number with you, because she don't mind me sharing her number with you, so you can also reach out to her directly. Let's see where she now, Melissa. All right, so as soon as I come up on her number, all right, so the account number is Melissa Blake, Melissa Blake at the Christiana branch, and the account number, it's an NCB account, and the account number is 854-359037. All right, so you can do a lodgement there at that account there. All right, NCB. Thanks, Melissa, as you continue to give me this information and in real time here on my phone. And the name again, Melissa Blake. That's the mother's name, mother of young Shaquille Foster. All right, or Shaquille Foster. I'll give you the spelling of his name there in a moment. All right, all right, so I'll give you the spelling of his name in a wee bit. Just bear with me. All right, but that's the account number. That's the account number to reach out, and the GoFundMe information. Okay. HTTPS-realhelpinghands.com. And it's a campaign for Tiquane, and the name is spelled Tiquane. So it's Tiquane. All right, Tiquane needs urgent brain surgery. All right, very, very important one there. You can also send me a WhatsApp on 876-594-7045. There are some people who do things privately, and you probably want to send me a WhatsApp so I can filter that to Miss Blake. All right, so whichever means you can assist by way or asking for you to do so. Remember now, today is the 12th of the month, 12th of May, and indeed, as Miss Blake said, that he is supposed to be admitted in the hospital by the 25th of this month. So we're talking about a mere 13 days to go for the admission to take place. So we're asking you, please, to do what you can. Again, I'm also making the call that the Ministry of Health, through its funding, compassionate grant and so on, if there's anything that you can do. And Ms. Blake, I'll urge you to call the Ministry of Health as right now, find out if there's anything that they can do, whether they can basically underwrite all of it or they can meet you halfway. Nonetheless, we'll still ask people to make a contribution, whether or not, because as you said, you're unable to work for the last 3 months, and certainly you're going to be home even much longer, so you need some assistance there. All right, I didn't get into the whole discussion about the child's father and so on, because I really don't want to get too clouded in that. But of course, the mother is there and she has a great need. So let's see what you can do in order to assist her. We're going up to the 10 o'clock break. As a matter of fact, we're only 3 minutes here, so we won't open the phone lines as yet. And coming up immediately after the 10 o'clock break, at about 8 or 10 minutes after 10 o'clock, we'll be having the Shadow Minister of Housing, Professor Morris. He will be joining us at that time. So we are hoping to have a very frank and open discussion as to the PNP policies on, building house. It is argued that when it comes to housing in Jamaica, that's the PNP baby. The National Housing Trust, one would also recall that is the brainchild of the PNP administration under the late Michael Norman Manley Joshua. So certainly the PNP has its DNA footprints or fingerprints all over that. There's absolutely no ambiguity there or any argument of successful contradiction as it relates to that. So we'll be, and immediately after Professor Morris, we'll open the phone lines to take your calls. All right? So stick and stay with us right here at News Talk 93 FM. CONRAD O'Brien, the fireman burns. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere.
Gold's money was not lost. It was stolen. Plain as daylight.
Ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out. From Portland, take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman.
Good morning, Jamaica. This is Mark Golding. Here's what's on my mind this morning. The fact that corruption is draining our future, and the truth is, most Jamaicans feel it, because nearly 66% of us believe it's worse now than it was 5 years ago. I believe trust must be earned, not demand. I'm Rachel Martin. And as Prime Minister, I will make integrity the standard, not the exception. That's why in April 2023, I tabled the impeachment bill in Parliament, because no elected official should be above accountability. Sadly, the current government has failed
trading.
to look at that
The U.S. is
legislation,
slash.
even though it was one of Andrew Holness's 100-day promises for the 2016 JLP election campaign. Anyway, don't worry. When the PNP forms the next government, that bill will become law. I will also look at introducing a recall system so that delinquent elected leaders who betray the people's trust can be removed by the people without having to wait years till the next election happens. Accountability is essential to building trust and confidence. But this isn't just about politics. The corruption at the top is part of a bigger problem, the moral decay in our society. It's reflected in how we treat each other, the callousness, the lack of respect, the everyday cruelty we see and hear about, the indifference to others that we've come to accept. That's why I plan to launch a national effort, not a political one, for Jamaica's spiritual and moral upliftment. It will be led by civic and spiritual leaders who have credibility and heart, not politicians. But the next PNP government will support it and protect it, because rebuilding our values must be a national mission. True leadership means being accountable to the people, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. And when we raise the bar together, we rebuild trust. And that trust is the foundation for real progress and real change.
But many
Trust must be earned. And under my leadership, that process will begin. Time come, Jamaica. Good morning, Jamaica. This is Mark Golding. Here's what's on my mind this morning. The fact that corruption is draining our future, and the truth is, most Jamaicans feel it, because nearly 66% of us believe it's worse now than it was 5 years ago. I believe trust must be earned, not demanded. And as Prime Minister, I will make integrity the standard, not the exception. That's why in April 2023, I tabled the impeachment bill in Parliament, because no elected official should be above accountability. Sadly, the current government has failed to look at that legislation, even though it was one of Andrew Holness's 100-day promises for the 2016 JLP election campaign. Anyway, don't worry. When the PNP forms the next government, that bill will become law. I will also look at introducing a recall system so that delinquent elected leaders who betray the people's trust can be removed by the people without having to wait years till the next election happens. Accountability is essential to building trust and confidence. But this isn't just about politics. The corruption at the top
has released
is part of a bigger problem, the moral decay in our society. It's reflected in how we treat each other, the callousness, the lack of respect, the everyday cruelty we see and hear about, the indifference to others that we've come to accept. That's why I plan to launch a national effort, not a political one, for Jamaica's spiritual and moral upliftment. It will be led by civic and spiritual leaders who have credibility and heart, not politicians. But the next PNP government will support it and protect it, because rebuilding our values must be a national mission. True leadership means being accountable to the people, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. And when we raise the bar together, we rebuild trust. And that trust is the foundation for real progress and real change. Trust must be earned. And under my leadership, that process will begin. Time come, Jamaica.
We offer dental care.
Now we have another A second Integrity Commission report on the Prime Minister, sent to Parliament, but not yet tabled for the public to see, with little bits of it being selectively leaked to JLP allied media houses. We will put a stop to such shenanigans. We will change the law so that all Integrity Commission reports must be published on Parliament's website within a short time, perhaps 24 hours of being sent to Parliament, so all Jamaicans can read those reports. Comrades, it is time to change these things. Accountability and transparency matter. And that is change.
Actor
When the
broadcaster Justin
PNP
Hahn
forms
invites
government, our job is to create an environment in which Jamaicans can thrive and achieve their versions of the Jamaican dream.
12 noon. News Talk 93 FM. Heard everywhere.
Comrades, it is a disgraceful blot on this government's record that maternal and child death rates are higher today than they were in 1995. Jamaica is going backwards under this government. Mothers and babies are dying. What happened, Andrew? How come you don't hear the dead babies now?
I hear the spirit of a little baby crying. I hear the spirit of a little baby crying.
The PNP will prioritize the procurement of intensive care units, providing critical care for mothers, babies, and the general population. Comrades, it is a disgraceful blot on this government's record that maternal and child death rates are higher today than they were in 1995. Jamaica is going backwards under this government. Mothers and babies are dying. What happened, Andrew? How come you don't hear the dead babies now?
I hear the spirit of a little baby crying. I hear the spirit of a little baby crying.
9824.
Crying.
The PNP will prioritize the procurement of intensive care units, providing critical care for mothers, babies, and the general population.
Brought to you by Wellington Dental, 57.
Good morning,
Wellington
Jamaica.
Street, Spanish Town.
This is Mark
Wellington
Golding.
Dental,
Here's what's on my
providing-
mind this morning. The fact that corruption is draining our future, and the truth is, most Jamaicans feel it, because nearly 66% of us believe it's worse now than it was 5 years ago. I believe trust must be earned, not demanded. And as Prime Minister, I will make integrity the standard, not the exception. That's why in April 2023, I tabled the impeachment bill in Parliament, because no elected official should be above accountability. Sadly, the current government has failed to look at that legislation, even though it was one of Andrew Holness's 100-day promises for the 2016 JLP election campaign. Anyway, don't worry. When the
Thanks
PNP
to
forms the next government,
those of you on the TikTok feed who continue to give me the information there. Hope everything is fine and dandy in terms of your listening pleasure. All right, so stay with me up until 12 midday. We're coming to you live from the studios of News Talk 93 FM right here at UWI Mona campus. We're also simulcasting with our partners at Fit FM and indeed Caribbean Vibe Radio, the Wayne Hall Network. We're also live up on the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel, and of course on the CONRAD OB TikTok page. So lots of offerings there this morning. Already, it's that time of the morning where we go into our spotlight discussion. And our spotlight guest this morning is none other than Professor Senator Floyd Morris, who is the opposition shadow minister on housing here in Jamaica. And of course, you know that Floyd's hold a substantive position here at the University of the West Indies, where he heads the Department of Disabilities. Floyd will catch me up on that, and that to be exact. I always want to be absolutely correct in terms of the titling. All right, so let me welcome my friend and brother, the man who sees a lot of things. Hey, Floyd, how you doing?
Not too bad, Conrad. How are you doing?
You know, before we go any further, I have to hail up Mrs. Morris. All right. So hope she is listening. And hi, Mrs. Morris. How you doing? Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right. So my friend Floyd, you have a very substantive portfolio within the People's National Party, and certainly it's an awesome one. And you know, I heard you elsewhere recently speaking, and you said that you were quite delighted when your party leader and the man who is opined that will be the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mark Jefferson Golden, Marky G, called you and said, listen, he wants you to shadow this portfolio, because obviously what he has done is certainly recognize your skill set and your talent, that you don't only can deal with things concerning disabilities and so on, but you're a very, very versatile human being.
You know, Conrad, thank you very much for inviting me to be on your program. And it is very fortuitous that you started your show with that commentary, because it gives me the opportunity to remind the country of the antecedents of Mark Golding, because you will recall that his father is Professor Sir John Golding, who did extensive work in terms of the community of persons with disabilities, being the founding father of the Mona Rehabilitation Center.
Indeed.
So Mark had significant interaction with persons with disabilities, and he's very much aware of their talents and abilities. So it wasn't a problem for him to shift me from the traditional role that I have played in terms of shadowing and working with the Labor and Social Security portfolio with special emphasis on persons with disabilities, to a substantive role in terms of shadowing the portfolio of housing and sustainable living. And, you know, I am very grateful for the opportunity to, you know, lead that portfolio.
Indeed, Floyd. And this Professor Morris, because indeed, you know, it speaks volume, because Mark's father, the late Professor Sir John Golding, he had the vision of basically doing things to allow persons who are said to have issues of disability being involved in the same space with persons who are, you know, as the saying goes, has no disability. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, he was one of the architects. He was also one of the architects of the Oak Valley Experimental School.
Absolutely.
Where children with disabilities were taught in the same space as those without a disability.
You know, Prof. Morris, since you acquired the designation of professor, I have not had you on air. Have I? I don't quite remember if I did. But just for the purpose of information, you're the only person within this particular hemisphere to have reached to this position, coming from, you know, rise through the ranks with disability, with a disability to have the designation reach the highest academic level, that of professor in this region. Is my information correct?
Not in this hemisphere, but certainly in Latin America and the Caribbean.
Yes, in Latin America and the Caribbean. That's a massive achievement, Floyd. And let me hasten to offer my largest congratulations to you, because certainly it takes a lot of heavy lifting. You share your story from time to time. As a matter of fact, our late friend, Doreen Samuels, that August lady there that we lost earlier, I remember from time to time you would share your experience there, and we all know she was your great friend.
well, I don't know how Doreen became our Doreen, because I Doreen, so I mean, I'm not sharing Doreen with no one.
All right, that's cool. I'll allow you that one, Prof. I'll allow you that one. I'll allow you one,
yes.
Prof. This morning we're going to be zeroing on the PNP housing policies, but I want to get a few housekeeping matters out of the way, Professor Morris. You know that the new media, social media, plays a great role in terms of dissemination of information. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this, that sometimes even we in mainstream media, we get some news or some information from social media. The thing about it is that we have to do the fact check, the checks and balance, cross the T's and the I's. But social media is doing human service out there. And it came to our attention, certainly through social media, that a number of persons within government have acquired acres and acres of land over there in Bernard Lodge and doing, that was earmarked for agriculture and probably doing, development there. One would remember when the Prime Minister went into the Parliament and, people are questioning whether or not the Prime Minister was misled, or did he deliberately misled the Jamaican people when he said that over there in Clifton, people from Klansman was collecting money, and lo and behold, the only person that get arrested so far is a lady who we gather who is a principal at a basic school in his constituency. Are you aware of those information, Professor Morris, and have you been able to do any form of validation or confirmation as to what's going on over there with those lands?
Well, I have heard of the arguments, but you'll recall that I don't speak on land issues. Unless it is relating to Operation Pride development.
Okay.
That the land portfolio falls under the capable hands of my colleague Luther
Cousins, yes? All right.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll have to talk to Luther, who is also somebody had him here the other day. We'll have to talk to him about that. So that said, Shadow Minister Morris, the PNP in its budget presentation recently, talk about repositioning the National Housing Trust, stop taking that $11.5 billion there. Let's look at the antecedents of the National Housing Trust. Of course, one of the flagship achievement of the PNP, which moved Jamaican people from the barracks into housing. Let's look at it. Are you satisfied with where the Housing Trust is now, and how will you reposition it for the people to benefit from it in a fulsome way?
Let me put it this way. The NHT over the past 49 years has emerged as one of the most significant national institutions. And we are all proud of the NHT because, it has really contributed to transforming the housing landscape of Jamaica. You know, the younger generation wouldn't know of thatch houses, wattle and daub, and bamboo houses, you know, which were to be seen all over the country in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. Okay? And over time, since the establishment of the NHT in 1976 by the Most Honorable Michael Manley, we have seen significant transformation in the housing stock. But what we have seen certainly within the last 9 years is a sort of shift in the emphasis on the housing portfolio. And the government, until probably the last 2 years, start to talk about low-income housing. But before that, the government was in the market chasing after the high-end
development.
Construction of development, you know. I mean, one can just look at what transpired with the Ruthven Towers development.
Yes.
You know, which the houses came out at 22 and 28 rather, and $38 million. And I've seen units being built by the HAJ, you know, costing over $20 million. And I've seen HAJ in the market selling lots, just a lot alone, for up to $30 million, right? And all of these have contributed to the escalation in the price of the houses. Now, I mean, I can understand a private developer. They are in this thing to make a profit. But it is the duty of government to help balance the market. And what we have seen by this administration is an exacerbation of the market prices. When we left a office in 2016, a one-bedroom house on the market was being sold for between $6 and $7 million, and a two-bedroom you could get it for up to $12 million. Now the price has moved up to a low of 13 million for a one-bedroom, and you know, anywhere upwards of 20 million for a two-bedroom unit, you know. And the price can be different because we have seen Gore Development, which is a private company in the market, building two bedrooms for $14 million, $14, $15 million.
Yes.
You know, so, I mean, we have said that we want the NHT to have a refocus. And that refocus, well, I must point out to you as well that of the almost 600,000 contributors to the NHT, 48% of these individuals earn below $30,000 per week. And these are individuals that are categorized as low-income earners. The NHT has a duty to cater to the needs of the contributors. But what we see happening in the market is that, you know, you have individuals in the private sector that are catering to that band that can afford a mortgage to carry a house valued at 20 million plus. Where there is a massive shortage is for those who are earning below $30,000 per week. And this is why my leader has said in his budget presentation that we are going to embark on a massive construction of 50,000 houses for low-income earners. And when we engage in the construction of these houses, in order to contribute to a reduction in the price of those houses, we are not going to allow the beneficiaries to pay for the land portion of the housing, final housing price. This is going to be significant in the housing landscape in Jamaica because it's going to lead to between $2.5 to $3 million reduction in the price of houses for low-income earners, and also immediately build up equity in the property for those low-income earners, you know, and we are very much committed to that. We are well on our way in terms of planning and preparing for this. We are identifying lands across this country that are not agricultural-based land where we can build out these housing units. And we are not going to be engaging a Kingston-centric housing development. We are going to be spreading it right across the country because, you know, the housing needs are not only concentrated in Kingston.
Indeed, Professor Morris, opposition spokesman and housing. Prof, a couple of weeks ago, I had the president for the micro, small, and medium-sized business, SMM, whatever the acronym is. I had the president for that sector, small and medium-sized business, Miss Antoinette Hamilton. And she was quite pleased. I'm sure that, well, I'm hazarding a guess, Prof, that you may have heard that interview where she hailed the PNP, you know, for your progressive approach and how you had engaged that sector. And indeed, she's happy that, for example, the hairdressers, the barbers, the fruit vendors, the small business owners, indeed, they will now be able to benefit from the National Housing Trust based on the repositioning that the PNP talk about. How delightful are you to hear that the body that basically oversees about 80% of the workforce of Jamaica, because of course that's where 80% of our workforce come from, find favor with what your party has put out there? Does that bring music to your ear?
Well, I tell you, I am very excited. I'm very excited because as I travel across the country, I'm getting a similar feedback from the citizens. You know, we had our town hall meeting in St. Anne last week, Wednesday, and the jubilation and the enthusiasm from the audience as I spoke about our housing policies.
I watched it.
It was just amazing, you know, and everywhere I go, everywhere the leader goes, everywhere the general secretary goes, I mean, and we speak about the housing approaches of the People's National Party, it has reverberated with the Jamaican citizens. And I mean, there is something in it for everybody. For example, when we talk about the rent to buy initiative, we are thinking about the ordinary taxi driver, the barber, the hairdresser, the dressmaker, the household helper, you know, the farmer who isn't getting a monthly pay slip.
Yes.
And so they are not contributing directly to the NHT and can't just walk in and try to negotiate a mortgage.
Yes.
So what we say is that we would allocate a portion of these houses that we are going to build for a rent-to-buy initiative, and these individuals could rent the units, and based on how we see their payment record over time, probably 6 months, probably 8 months, we would be able to convert that rental arrangement into a mortgage plan for these individuals, because we would have seen the consistency in payment, we would have seen the stability in terms of the payment record.
Prof. Morris, please just hold on for me. Let me go to the 10:30 break and I'll be right back. Sukam,
okay,
please you can stay with us.
Good morning, Jamaica. This is Mark Golding. Here's what's on my mind this morning. The fact that corruption is draining our future, and the truth is, most Jamaicans feel it, because nearly 66% of us believe it's worse now than it was 5 years ago. I believe trust must be earned, not demanded. And as Prime Minister, I will make integrity the standard, not the exception. That's why in April 2023, I tabled the impeachment bill in Parliament, because no elected official should be above accountability. Sadly, the current government has failed to look at that legislation, even though it was one of Andrew Holness's 100-day promises for the 2016 JLP election campaign. Anyway, don't worry. When the PNP forms the next government, that bill will become law. I will also look at introducing a recall system so that delinquent elected leaders who betray the people's trust can be removed by the people without having to wait years till the next election happens. Accountability is essential to building trust and confidence. But this isn't just about politics. The corruption at the top is part of a bigger problem, the moral decay in our society. It's reflected in how we treat each other, the callousness, the lack of respect, the everyday cruelty we see and hear about, the indifference to others that we've come to accept. That's why I plan to launch a national effort, not a political one, for Jamaica's spiritual and moral upliftment. It will be led by civic and spiritual leaders who have credibility and heart, not politicians. But the next PNP government will support it and protect it, because rebuilding our values must be a national mission.
227.
True leadership means being accountable to the people, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. And when we raise the bar together, we rebuild trust. And that trust is the foundation for real progress and real change. Trust must be earned. And under my leadership, that process will begin. Time come, Jamaica.
The One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation and its global supporters cordially invite Jamaicans young and abroad to its inaugural reconnection on June 21st, 2025 at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center in Kingston, Jamaica. Bring your entire family for a day of food, fun, entertainment, and information. Get an understanding of the Constitution and the skills necessary to exercise your rights and your civic responsibilities as Jamaican citizens. You can't afford to miss this inaugural Reconnection Rally, June 21st in Kingston. Tune in for further information and updates to Reason with Radigan on YouTube and reggaeglobalradio.com, Saturdays at 3 p.m. New York time and at 2 p.m. in Jamaica.
If the sea could not stop Moses, if the walls could not stop Joshua.
Andrew, if you call it in May, you're going to get a beating. If you call it in June, you're going to get a beating. If you call it in July, you're going to get a beating. If you call it in August, you're going to get a beating.
I'm smile that way because I'm getting so much expression. The listeners are really in tune to this broadcast and loving it. I can tell you. There is a young lady who is on the TikTok feed just now. Her name is Danishka Williams. I gather that she has Xavier down there under pressure. And Professor Morrison, she said that I must heal you up in a big way, and I must tell you that the flyer that went out for the promo for this program, she did it. Prof? Let's see. Prof?
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, man. I was saying to you that let me welcome back our listeners on the various platforms. Welcome back to News Talk 93 FM. We're coming to you live from the studios of News Talk here at UWI Mona campus. It's a Monday we simulcast with our friends at Fit FM, Trelawney's Radio, Caribbean Vibe Radio, and indeed the Wayne Hall Network. We're also live on the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel as well, and we're also up on the CONRAD OB TikTok page. Of course, we're on the News Talk 93 FM band, 93.3 band. So lots of offerings here this morning, Floyd. I was saying to you that your good friend, Danishka Williams, who I gather have such man under pressure down there in Sentan, is saying to you, saying that, listen, she is so excited about the offering that you're talking about, because indeed her constituency have been neglected for so long, and she's expecting great things from the PNP government and you as Minister of Housing, Prof. Morris.
Yes,
and in closing, she also want me to mention that, listen, the flyer, well, I don't know if she want me to, but I am. The flyer that was done for the program to promote this program that you're coming on, it was actually designed by her.
Oh, well, she's a young lady that is very talented,
Yes.
Very, very talented. Very bright, and I will tell you also easy on the eyes too. So
absolutely, I made mention to my listeners in opening that you see a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So and she has made strong representation to me. Mm-hmm. She said, "Prof, I want to make sure that some of those houses come to Southwest St. Anne, because they haven't seen a housing development in the constituency many moons." And I have said to her, definitely we will, and we have identified lands there that we can easily roll out 500 of these units in the constituency. Mm-hmm. And it's just to work out the logistics in terms of water and all of that sort of stuff, but we are committed to making sure that some of these houses are built in Southwest St. Anne. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of farmers down there. You have a lot of hotel workers down there. And you have teachers and other professionals that reside in these rural parts. They want to be able to find housing where they are from. Mm-hmm. And we have to cater to all of the needs of the citizens across the country.
Good. Let me just say to my listeners and viewers here, we're spending a bit of extended time with Prof. Morris this morning. We're giving him the entire hour. We finished the early hour, so we're continuing up until 11 o'clock with Prof. Morris, and we're indeed in the hour that is sponsored by our friends at Wellington Dental over there in Spanish Town. Prof, you have actually preempted my listeners, because they were talking, caller, our person sending a message here asking about how shovel ready you are to hit the ground running as it relates to building out of housing for, say, our tourism workers who have been doing a lot of heavy lifting and living under what you could describe as in squalor in terms of the housing arrangement.
Well, let me tell you something. My leader has given me a mandate to come to the table with a plan for affordable houses. And out of that, we have put together a team that has been working with me, to come up with the plans and the design for these houses. So we have a design that will be unveiled within short order. And we are identifying lands across the island. The last time I checked the land bank that we are building, we have identified over 3,000 acres of land to roll out this initiative. And we are at the same time working on how we are going to mobilize funding for this venture. And we have seen where the funding will be coming from. So I won't discuss that because we are keeping that very close to our chest. But, funding will not be an issue in terms of rolling out this very
exciting plan.
Plan. Yeah.
Prof,
so we are very much ready. We are very ready.
Good. Because you would have basically put your task force together and so on, so you know exactly that. Listen, because what the people are saying, Prophet, I must tell you that there has been a sort this lull that people are describing it as in the oldest administration for the last 9 years, where they have not seen the deliverable, more talk, and they're saying that, listen, this is what I'm hearing, that they are prepared to go to the polls, give the PNP a chance, but they're saying that, listen, there will be little or no honeymoon. So you're giving the people of Jamaica the commitment here at News Start 93 FM this morning with yours truly, CONRAD, BRIEN, the fireman, that you are indeed shovel ready and you'll be hitting the ground running from day one.
And that is why I'm taking a lot of time, CONRAD, to go through the details. One of the things that I come to the table with from academia is that when I go to a lecture each week, I have to prepare myself for those classes. I can't step in the class with my students and is not prepared. And so this task that the leader of the opposition has placed in my lap, I have to make sure that I prepare myself, not just putting forward the policy ideas, but also laying the groundwork in terms of identifying land, coming up with a design for the unit, identifying personnel that will be working with me, having discussion with contractors to let them understand what it is that we are going to do in terms of the build out of these 50,000 houses, and to identify funding sources for the initiative. So, and I say to Jamaicans, I can't come to the table and sell what I told them in St. Ann Hollow to the Jamaican people, because I know what it is to be poor. I grew up in a family house in Baileysville, St. Mary, 4-bedroom board house, where my mother had 8 of us. And then after a while, that family expanded because my brothers and sisters started to have their children. And then, it went up to 15. And my mother was a loving, caring dressmaker in the community who, individuals from the community came to our house because they know that food was there, they know that TV was there, and so they were very comfortable in our space. And, a man come and him come watch TV, him don't leave because TV sign off 12 o'clock in the night, and him now go my yard.
Prof, you're absolutely sure that you were born in a 4-bedroom board house and not a 5-bedroom, because we hear of people born in 1-bedroom and then it moved to 2-bedroom. Are you sure that you was born in a 4-bedroom? Or grew up in a 4-bedroom?
Well, 4-bedroom board house.
Yes, a 4-bedroom board house, because at times we hear that it's a 1-bedroom, then a 2-bedroom. So I want to be able to be sure that you are.
well, I know where I grew up and I knew of my circumstances, and it is not easy to live in a 4-bedroom with 20 individuals living in the space. So, you know, so if you have a 1-bedroom with 3, I mean, and you do the ratio, it still can't amount to a 4-bedroom with 20.
Absolutely. I'm playing on something there, Prof. Morris.
I'm
playing on something there. But I tell you, there's some expression coming in here. QB, he is in Massachusetts in the United States, and message coming in from him is saying, great news coming out of the NHT for the new government under Prof. Morris. And he's saying, hail fireman. Thanks a lot for that. So people are really looking at what is taking place as well.
And remember what my leaders also pointed to, CONRAD, that we are going to be stopping the annual extraction of the 11.5 billion. From the NHT to fund the budget. And so the NHT is going to have more cash to deal with housing construction. And that is why the leader said, out of that 11.4 billion, $1 billion of it, we are going to be taking it to establish this housing grant for young people so that they can get $500,000 to pay the deposit for their housing. And this will be a grant.
Not a loan.
Not a loan. And when you look at that, it works out to 2,000 individuals, and it will be going for up to 5 years. So you're talking about 10,000 young people who will benefit from that initiative. And we are going
over a 5-year period.
Yes, and we are going to make sure that the houses that are being built, young people will be benefiting from them as well.
Prof, you're a man who worked in academia, and you understand, we broadcast from the university here, so we pride ourselves in, sharing information in a very frank and honest manner and accurate. So let us just remind our listeners about this $11.5 billion, the genesis. The genesis of this $11.5 billion was when the PNP came into office. There wasn't an IMF deal, and the country was at its lowest ebb. As a result of that, the PNP was asked to do something initially. One of those was to basically come up with some additional funding. They look at it and said, listen, the best place to go to at the time was the National Housing Trust. At that time, the Jamaica Labour Party was in opposition. They literally crucified the government, the then PNP government. They took the PNP government to court, and they said that whilst they come into office, they would be disbanded. That it has been going on for whatever, and the PNP said that they would have basically stopped the taking away from the.
But it would have ended in 2017.
In 2017, but the JLP government under Holness, who was a senior cabinet minister at the time, continued to take the $11.5 billion from the National Housing Trust. Now you're drawing.
He was private. He was prime minister in 2016.
Good.
And so he has continued the annual extraction. And they just have moved on merrily with it, and to date, approximately $150 billion have been taken out of the NHT to fund the budget. And this is why the leader of the People's National Party, Mark Jefferson Goldie, with his caring spirit, has said, government of Jamaica has taken out $150 billion of the contributors' money to fund the budget over the years, and has contributed to the reduction of the debt to GDP ratio. What can we give back to the NHT contributors? And this is why we have come up with this strategy to exclude the land portion of the housing price from the final housing price. And I have to big up my leader. I have to big up Mark Jefferson Golding for thinking of the Jamaican working class and putting to the people that we are going to build 50,000 houses. And in building those 50,000 houses, you are not going to pay for the land portion of it because we took out $150 billion of your money from the NHE. That is a caring leader.
Boy, Floyd, the things are coming in thick and fast. One listener out of Trelawney a Trelawney listener says, Prof, not to give away all his future plans, as the other party will run with it and claim it as their own idea. The people are not skipping a beat, you know, Floyd.
Well, let me tell you, we are in full election campaign mode now in Jamaica. The Prime Minister might be hiding, but at some point in time will catch up with him because he can't go beyond September, because if he goes beyond September, he will have to have just cause to have that extension. And history will show that the last time that we have had a situation where a government went beyond the constitutionally due period was 1988 with Mr. Siaga, and he called the election in 89, albeit because of Hurricane Gilbert. But by then, the people were tired of him and voted him out. Right? And so what we are hearing and seeing on the ground is people are saying Andrew is hiding from Marky G.
Hiding from Marky G. That said, Prof Morris, I recall, and I know that you're a man with a great memory, but I recall during Portia's tenure, there was a kind of tacit campaigning that was going on. And, you know, the private sector came out and said, listen, the country needs to settle down. And they call on Portia to say, Mrs. Simpson Miller, the most honorable, to say, call the election. Do you believe that based on what we're seeing now? Because certainly I believe the people of Jamaica, both here at home and abroad, are somewhat restive and saying that, listen, the country needs to settle down. They believe that they have seen enough of Mr. Holness on the 9 years. So they're saying that he should go to the polls for a mandate and, you know, have the country settled down. We have seen a 5.3% cumulative decline for the 2 final quarters and so on, and the poverty rate is certainly higher now than it was in 2016. You believe we should be expecting that call from the PSOJ, Professor Morris?
Well, we should, but I am not holding my breath. I must say that, you know, we have seen a shift in terms of the political culture where people, since the era of social media, have moved away from the streets by and large in terms of protests. And when you look on social media, right across the platforms, whether it be Facebook, whether it be TikTok, whether it be on YouTube, whether
Instagram.
it be Instagram, you know, just look at the postings, just look at the videos, just look at the commentaries, and you'll see the protestation that is taking place there. The government and the Prime Minister. I think that they are holding back to the point where they are going to be hitting the government in the ballot box. The other day, you know, the Prime Minister likened the People's National Party and its supporters to a dog chasing a car, which I think is reprehensible and disgusting to come from a prime minister to liken his people that he is leading, because he's not a prime minister for labor rights.
Mm-hmm.
He is a prime minister for every single Jamaican after the elections are over. And for him to reference and liken Jamaicans to a dog is really something that is disgusting. And when you look on social media and see what people are saying,
yes, the people,
and I don't hear anything from the private sector where that is concerned.
All right, I have 4 minutes, Floyd. I want you to basically divide it for me in two. One, just explain briefly the rent to own policy there, and also at the end of it, I want you to give your opinion that as a result of the Prime Minister's filing cannot be certified so far by the Integrity Commission, do you believe that he is qualified to remain as a candidate on the ballot going into the next election?
Okay, all right. Two issues. So the rent to buy initiative that we will be implementing is one in which we see individuals who are not contributing to the NHT but want to own a home, and we say to them that you would be able to rent one of these units, and over a period of time, we will see your payment in terms of the rent and the consistency of that payment. And then we will convert that rental into a mortgage. But you have to make sure that if it is 6 months, you pay the 6 months. If it is 8 months, you have to be consistent in terms of your payment.
So you develop a pattern there.
Yes, that is how we're going to know that you will be able to pay the mortgage, and then we would convert that rental arrangement into a mortgage situation. And we believe that that is going to impact significantly on ordinary Jamaicans, the farmers, the taxi drivers, the barbers, the hairdressers, household helpers, etc. So that is in a nutshell what the rent to buy initiative is about. As it relates to the qualifications of the Prime Minister to run based on the fact that the Integrity Commission has not been able to certify his statutory declaration, I say that he is in a serious predicament, because if it is that you as a leader of the country has not been able to get your statutory declaration certified, and based on all the allegations that have been associated with the investigation from the Integrity Commission, I think that he is not qualified.
Thank you very much, Professor Senator Floyd Morris, the man who has basically rise in a big way and is now at the top of the academic ladder. Want to say thanks, Floyd, and indeed, we'll be talking to you from time to time. God bless you, sir. All the best.
Thank you very much. God bless you too, Conrad.
Good. Let's go to the 11 o'clock break. Sukam.
The preceding hour was brought to you.
Good morning, Jamaica. This is Mark Golding. Here's what's on my mind this morning. The fact that corruption is draining our future, and the truth is, most Jamaicans feel it, because nearly 66% of us believe it's worse now than it was 5 years ago. I believe trust must be earned, not demanded. And as Prime Minister, I will make integrity the standard, not the exception. That's why in April 2023, I tabled the impeachment bill in Parliament, because no elected official should be above accountability. Sadly, the current government has failed to look at that legislation, even though it was one of Andrew Holness's 100-day promises for the 2016 JLP election campaign. Anyway, don't worry. When the PNP forms the next government, that bill will become law. I will also look at introducing a recall system so that delinquent elected leaders who betray the people's trust can be removed by the people without having to wait years till the next election happens. Accountability is essential to building trust and confidence. But this isn't just about politics. The corruption at the top is part of a bigger problem, the moral decay in our society. It's reflected in how we treat each other, the callousness, the lack of respect, the everyday cruelty we see and hear about, the indifference to others that we've come to accept. That's why I plan to launch a national effort, not a political one, for Jamaica's spiritual and moral upliftment. It will be led by civic and spiritual leaders who have credibility and heart, not politicians. But the next PNP government will support it and protect it, because rebuilding our values must be a national mission. True leadership means being accountable to the people, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. And when we raise the bar together, we rebuild trust. And that trust is the foundation for real progress and real change. Trust must be earned. And under my leadership, that process will begin. Time come.
Jerry Scott Besant.
Jamaica, vote power. Don't vote for Labour. They don't care about poor people. They make we suffer. Jamaica, vote for power.
The One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation and its global supporters cordially invite Jamaicans abroad and abroad to its inaugural reconnection on June 21st, 2025 at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center in Kingston, Jamaica. Bring your entire family for a day of food, fun, entertainment, and information. Get an understanding of the Constitution and the skills necessary to exercise your rights and your civic responsibilities as Jamaican citizens. You can't afford to miss this inaugural reconnection rally, June 21st in Kingston. Tune in for further information and updates to Reason with Radigan on YouTube and reggaeglobalradio.com, Saturdays at 3 p.m. New York time and at 2 p.m. in Jamaica.
Jamaica, vote power. Don't vote for Labour. They don't care about poor people. They make we suffer.
Stay with me.
Jamaica, vote for power. Market G care. So we're voting today and we're voting forever. Jamaica, vote power. Jamaica, vote power. Vote for power. Market G care. So we're voting today and we're voting forever. Jamaica, vote power. Jamaica. Them feel like them can't trick we again. Them to know so we get wiser. Yeah man. Full speed ahead, Marky G. Now let them trick we. Deal with it. Go get your mother. Go get your father. Go get your uncle and auntie. Go get your sister. Go get your brother. Go get your whole family. We don't care what the Labour right want to say. So we're voting today and we're voting forever. Jamaica, vote power. Jamaica, vote power.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a
Also
change, this is
reiterate-
the next election here will come up under no circumstances whatsoever. can you vote in back the Jamaica Labour Party into government?
Dear Mr. Prime Minister, it's almost 9 years since you took over the country. Name yourself Brogard while basking in election glory. Little did we know that you would matriculate to becoming Jamaica's first Prime Minister to lead a heist on taxpayers' money. With a whopping 28 bank account, you laugh and skin your teeth while bolt head hang low in this national defeat. I remember when you tell with it Tanawi yard, leaving Jamaicans sitting in limbo. Even before that, you promised me could leave open me door and me window. You take your wife turn Madam Bully of the Parliament, showing Jamaicans who is the real man, whether in or outside an agreement. You raise your pay to a higher standard, while teachers, doctors and nurses leave yard to go look work abroad. Mr. Prime Minister, me don't know if you see it. Maybe you're blind. Cause between me and you, Jamaica is singing a new song. Cause it's about time. Time for a new direction. Time for a new leader. Time for a change. So take it from me, Mr. Prime Minister. Light a candle, sing a song, and find your way back home. Yours cross, angry, miserable, a patriotic Jamaican.
I do not believe that the Jamaica Labour Party is a party that is humanitarian. I don't think they think about the human factor.
Do you think the opposition has a chance in the next general election?
The best chance the opposition ever know. I think that charisma
is exactly
Andrew beat, but if you have a look for intelligence, Mark Gordon is no disrespect to Brogard, and I hope nobody take this as no. But if you look for basic understanding and basic conversation, like Andrew Holness, we say this something nicer. Mark Golding is more of the people than Andrew Holness. I think that Andrew Holness is very pretentious. You understand me? I think that he plays the part of the man of the people better. Underemployment is worse than unemployment, because if you're working less than what it costs you to live and go to work, that is underemployment.
Remember, Randy used to tell say every nickel make a muck.
No, and I say go. But if you have to use 5 nickel to get 1 muckle, it don't make no sense. You understand me? I say them conversation are not a political conversation. Them conversation are a life conversation.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a change, you see the next election
Network. We're also up on the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel, and indeed, you can also join us here on the CONRAD OB TikTok page, having a little static there on the TikTok. Let's see what's going on there. All right, so you can join us there as well. And indeed, the Observer, again, it's reporting at its front page, painful Mother's Day. And there's a picture of a young man who the police basically name as a person of interest. So detective assigned to the criminal investigation branch have named, Giovanni Ellis, otherwise called Coolie Man, as a person of interest in the case concerning the young 9-year-old there. I'll give you her full name in a minute, because indeed we must put the name and the face together. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, welcome, caller.
Yes, Mr. Bad. Good morning, sir.
Hi, Milton. How are you doing?
Not too bad, sir.
Talk to me.
First thing first, I would like to believe that big up mothers on their Mother's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to big up mothers, right?
Indeed.
And their special day yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, yes, because the role of a mother requires a woman to take responsibility for the well-being of others.
Indeed, indeed. I join in that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. I like how the opposition spoke, gentlemen, and how it ended its conversation with you know.
You do.
Those are things that can't be overemphasized, Mr. O'Brien.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
And over the weekend, the Prime Minister was the most honorable Prime Minister was pronouncing on criminality, which is his right to do as the Prime Minister, as any other citizens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he's the subject of a top-level investigation.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a healthy place for our country to be in, you know.
Yes. Yes, Milton, I'm listening, man. Make a point.
Yes, sir. It is not. It is not. He is the subject of a top-level investigation into illicit enrichment. That tantamount to criminality.
Well, certainly, when he was
that investigation, you know, not been proven against him yet. But despite that, it's not a healthy position for our country to be in. How you are pronounced on something when you are the subject of similar investigation?
Yeah, because take for example now, even the gentleman here who is on the front page of the Gleaner, that is basically being sought
your voice from it, Mr. Brian. Your voice is lifted from a place.
Sorry, I'm saying that even the young man who is on the front page of the Observer, who is said to be a person of interest in this murder case of the young 9-year-old student over Spanish Town, you know, it's sort of, when you look at it, it sort of render the Prime Minister's position a little bit tenuous to speak on anything, you know, because people are saying, you know.
That's the point. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
So we're advising Mr. Golding right now, make certain saying I was clean, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because my position, the country shouldn't be in these positions like these.
Yes, let's just remind our listeners the name of the 9-year-old. Kelsey Cassidy Ferrigan, that's her name.
Yes,
right?
Yes, Ferrigan. 9-year-old.
9-year-old. You know,
yeah, and the mom was on the media yesterday, you know. They allege killer mom was on the case yesterday, you know. Right? Well, the breeder, and she was saying, she has given, she said that she has given up on the youth man for a long time because the youth man not take the hearing. According to he doesn't respond to hearing.
Yes.
And she saw him the morning when the thing happened still. Allegations still, you know, we don't know yet, right? Because I can't tell you, in enough community in Jamaica, you know. So my time we then call thief, the regular thief, if him gone, a man to be smart, one or thief, and make that person get a blame, you know, that mal while in communities in Jamaica, you know. So that doesn't wait on the due process.
Yes. And that is why that is why we remind people at all time that, you know, there's a process. But
yes,
as you point
and the election, I can't to Malu vote based on fair observation and statement. We're likely looking at a December election.
Well, I don't think that is going to fly, you know. I really don't think it's going to fly. I don't think it's going to fly. I really don't believe that. You see, there are enough things that the Prime Minister have on the radar that people have marked him down on. You know, when you talk about the Constitution, you talk about the allegation with illicit enrichment and all of those sort of things and so on. I really and truly don't believe that the Prime Minister, Mr. Holness, would really want to have another dubious distinction against his name. So I expect the election to be before September.
You know, his misfortune, never tell you that it was her opinion alone, or that administration, you know, but she was interpreting the Constitution is a legal document, you know.
Can I say, Milton, that I am not a betting man, but I'm prepared to wager a little on this one to say that the Prime Minister will not do that. The election will be called on or before the date in September that it is due.
Before September.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I said on or before the date in September that it is due. Mm-hmm.
All right. You want me to remind you what Ms. Malu said.
No man, I know what you said, Milton. We know what you said, but
the election was one on the 3rd of September.
Mm-hmm.
That's not when the administration started, you know. It started with the swanning in of
Parliament.
It was
the 15th.
So 5 years after the Parliament swanning.
Yeah, which was the 15th of September. So we'll still be in that band.
The point is the professor ended this morning. Things like those can't be overemphasized here, sir.
Yes. Respect. Thanks a lot, Milton. All the best. All right, so we continue to take the calls. The numbers are 876-212-9824, 876-462-0919. Those are the numbers to participate on the program. All right. This morning we're up on the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel. We're also simulcasting with our friends at Fit FM, Caribbean Vibe Radio, and indeed the Wayne Hall Network. We are also up on the CONRAD OB TikTok page. We have been slipping there quite a bit, but we are now back up on the page so you can join me. And thanks, Abo. See your expression earlier saying that you like my shirt. All right. Thanks a lot there. And to all the kind comments that I've been getting here, I am indeed delighted. All right. Caller, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to the listeners.
Hi, morning, Anthony. How are you doing?
Yeah, boy, I'm with a heavy heart this morning because heard of the killing of that little girl, it gets me down away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It brings tears to my eyes, you know, because you know, at one point I was having to mango in my hand and to throw away, and I fling them away very fast because it hit me. And I just want to say to the nation, our children supposed to be taken care of.
Yeah, man, we carry two very sad story this morning. Well, of course, one is much more, terrible than the other, but nonetheless, two stories that must be taken into consideration. Of course, the murder of the 9-year-old, and indeed the 4-year-old who needs a surgery, and because of lack of money, we don't know exactly how that is going to go, but we are praying and hoping that it will come through for him.
No, I just want to say to the family of those children, to those old strain, especially the mother of the child that died. I just want to tell her that they must just pray and just humble and just try to relax. I know it is hard, but with God all things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Kelsey, let's remind her. Let's continue to mention her name. Kelsey Cassidy Ferrigan. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This morning I just want to, to put the spotlight on our politicians.
Mm-hmm.
And it is I just want to focus on division, because division divide people.
Yeah, man.
And because division divide people, it also kills the society itself in growth. Because if you're not talking to me, how can I come to you to get a work from you, or to do something else or to help you if we're not talking? And it is these things that bring us back or set us back for years.
Yeah, but listen, let's get this straight. Let's get this straight. In every democracy, wherever it is, even in the Scandinavian countries that we talk about so glowingly as to, how they deal with things and so on, politics is in vogue, and invariably you have a minimum of two sides competing. So it's always going to be a competition, and people will go out hard for their side. But we must understand that along that competition, within that competition, we must find a place there for decency, truth, and honesty. The competition and the campaign will be strident, but we must have respect one for another.
Well, I understand that. Well, as I'm saying to you, you see, it is the platform, it is the rule that set those platforms. Because when we can be in a house of parliament, we are making laws. For instance, you know, children go to school, and when they go to school, they learn from the teacher.
Yes.
Now, whatever they learn,
yes,
they impart it elsewhere. Right? And if you are in the House of Parliament and you are making law, people are looking up to you. So whatever you do in the House of Parliament, that is what people is going to be follow. Not everybody, but a lot of people is going to follow those examples. And I remember that, you know, some time ago in the House of Parliament, you know, when the budget debate was going on, and I look and I see where Mrs. Holness, she dropped the ball because, you know, she presided over our own party affair by those presentation and the presentation of the opposition people. She did not preside over
I think it was quite noticeable and a little bit distasteful, you know, because she made herself available for her people, but did not for the others. Rob for me, Anthony, I have quite a few callers calling, and the time is short.
That was a division, and when we have division in the society, as I said before, it holds us back. You know, we need to do better, man, because, you know, people want to see good example set. And you know what that can do? When I am not talking to you and you're not talking to me, it also build up anger. Because if we are taking example from Miss Holness at that point, she's not talking to the opposition, or she don't want to preside over what they are doing. It shows a division, and it shows that it can lead to a wider division in the society. Because people are gonna look and say, you know, they're not talking to Parliament and they're the example. So why should we talk to our neighbor?
Yeah, all right, Anthony. I'm going to leave it there this morning. Tomorrow I'll have a little more time. All right, let's try and see if we can take some more. Good. All right. So that's Anthony there. I'm talking about the whole business of the division and malice keeping and so on. We must be kind to each other, and that's where I actually started this morning. The Observer reporting this morning as well, and page 3. It doesn't make sense. Some windscreen wipers. Skeptical about plans to remove them from the road. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Hello, welcome caller.
Good morning, Mr. Brian. How are you doing?
Hi, morning. I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Very good. Mr. Brian, I just want to send my condolence to the mother of that 9-year-old child who
hi, this sounds like Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. On behalf of my family, the Tavares family, the Mek Wi Talk family, my deepest condolence to that lady there. And I will say this publicly, I would love to have her on my platform to see what we in the diaspora can do to assist her in any other way that we can, in the sense of, you know, maybe ask people to donate to her GoFundMe page. So I just want to throw that out there.
Hold on. Let's be clear. So we have two youngsters, one that was murdered. So you're offering the condolences to that family, but you're also now shifting to the young boy who need the surgery to say that you are prepared to have the mother on your program and to see how you can add to the GoFundMe account. Or contribute in whatever way. All right, good. You know, so just want to get it clear.
And right, and in go back to the 9-year-old that was murdered now.
Yes,
it is a shame and a disgrace that we have to wait until
Kelsey.
Yes, we wait until something happened, and then our Prime Minister can go out there and have a photo op. Why can't we in this country?
You know, Jeffrey, I have the paper in my hand here, and exactly it's where I'm at, because I'm saying, you know, and here is it, where it is saying that registry reveal, all right, PM wants urgent reform of Sexual Offense Act after attack and 9-year-old discussion reignite around making the past offenders known to the public. You know, and for too long, we're seeing these photos up. Whenever something happens, we hear this cry, and our people going and showing their sad faces and so on, and making all sorts of Mr. Holness, you're there the wicked for 9 years, and this is something that has always been in the offing. I remember it being discussed. Why now?
And not only can I corner the brand. When we have some people gonna use the Mario Dean case as a political football by saying why Mario Dean died is because there was no bed at the CONRAD Regional Hospital. And people are not talking about the brutality of what happened at the Barnett Street police station with Mario Dean.
Well,
but because they have a mic to spew nonsense, they keep on doing that. Let's go back to that young lady who, that 9-year-old murdered now. The Prime Minister of this country only see it fit for a photo op to go around about his condolence. The time has come for this Prime Minister to put law in place for these sex offenders.
Guess what happened, Jeffrey? The Prime Minister have very, very little time to do anything right now, you know. He has been there for 10 years. And certainly, we're going into an election, and that is what the people are saying, that, listen, we give you almost 10 years, and you found wanted. So call the election and give us the choice of making the decision. So let's see.
Is it that some people of the Vumvov and the Vumvovi is on that sex offender list why they can't make it public? Is it that some politicians are on it too? Or some well-known pastors or pastors are on it?
I couldn't say, Jeffrey.
We need to wake up in this country, Mr. Brian.
Yes.
We need to wake up. A 9-year-old is murdered in this country, and we're quiet. And all the Prime Minister can do is a photo up. A 9-year-old, a baby, has been raped and murdered in this country. What more can happen? Are we going to stand by and allow our babies to be murdered in this country? And these people who are put over us, just going around as if there's nothing, it's just business as usual. And with this photo up, wake up, Jamaica. We must wake up in this country and call a spade and demand accountability in this country. Demand accountability, Jamaicans. Enough of this nonsense, a photo up. The full time for Delroy truck to make this sex offender register be made public. We don't care who is on it. It could be the people of the Vumva in Upper St. Andrew or Norbrook or Cherry Garden. Put the name down.
I agree
with you. If it was a poor man from below Crossroad, his name would be on it. Enough of this nonsense now, man. Mr. Brian, have a good morning.
All right, Jeffrey. We remember where persons within the political directorate, they went to meet a man who came in from Qatar some years ago who was charged for some rape and all of those sort of things. So I don't know.
And that's only Mr. Brian. Do you remember the man from Washington D.C. who sexually assaulted some lady, some young girls at the state of some girls' home that we have in this country here in Jamaica, and nothing comes out of it?
Yes, I do remember. Or
nothing comes out of it.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. I'm up on my final break here. Thanks for weighing in, and certainly I will secure that interview for you for later.
Please, thank you.
All right, all the best. That's Jeffrey Tavares of Mek Wi Talk YouTube program there. Let's go to the final break, Suka.
I do not believe that the Jamaica Labour Party is a party that is humanitarian. I don't think they think about the human factor.
Do you think the opposition has a chance in the next general election?
The best chance the opposition ever know. I think that charisma
is exactly
Andrew beat. But if you have a look at intelligence, Mark Golden is no disrespect to Brogan, and I hope nobody will take this as no. But if you look at basic understanding and basic conversation, like Andrew Holness, we say this something nicer. Mark Golden is more of the people than Andrew Holness. I think that Andrew Holness is very pretentious. You understand me? I say I think that he plays the part of the man of the people better. Underemployment is worse than unemployment, because if you're working less than what it costs you to live and go to work, that is underemployment.
Remember, Randy used to tell say every meal come up.
No, and I say go. But if you have to use 5 meal to get 1 muckle, it don't make no sense. You understand me? I say them conversation are a political conversation. Them conversation are a life conversation.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a change, you see the next election here will come up under no circumstances whatsoever can you vote in back the Jamaica Labour Party into government.
Ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman. Ball out! Whoa, yo.
Empire
We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a change, you see the next election here will come up under no circumstances whatsoever can you vote in back the Jamaica Labour Party into government.
Dear Mr. Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a change, you see the next election here will come up under no circumstances whatsoever can you vote in back the Jamaica Labour Party into government.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman.
Bowles' money was not lost. It was stolen. Plain as daylight.
The Prime Minister just needs to fly the gate. Call it Andrew, call it, and Iman will sound the trumpet.
Ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them.
Network, and indeed the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel. We're also up live on the CONRAD OB TikTok page. The Gleaner is also carrying on its front page right now that court orders Scotia to repay Gloria's $3.5 million. Judge rules bank lawsuit defense weak with no realistic prospect of being successful. So Scotia, Jamaica has been ordered by the Supreme Court to repay more than $3.5 million it claimed was transferred to the public purse from dormant account belonging to the late proprietor of Gloria's seafood restaurant, Gloria Paul Harris, former founder of the popular restaurant chain, died in 2001, leaving behind some money there. So the court has basically ordered that. And indeed, we are getting reports that the gentleman accused of murdering the 9-year-old, he was shot by the police. We're also getting another report that his body was found in Clarendon, somewhere in Clarendon this morning. So we're checking to recalibrate that. But the article coming out of the Gleaner said that he was shot by the police. So let's see how that pans out. We're waiting better and further particulars there. Hello, welcome caller.
I'm Conrad.
Hi, welcome man. How you doing?
Phone card raised, you know.
Yeah, man. But we have to share the
phone
info.
Card raised here.
All right, my friend. Yes, I understand. I understand Africa. Africa?
Yeah. Where you going with?
Me there, my brother. Talk to me faster so
it's
we
good
can.
To be here, you know.
Every time.
Yeah, man.
Every time.
Yeah, wanna know fix the justice system.
Why, well, you know, we calling on your MP, Delroy Chuck for do some things, but it's limping along.
So you know where the God works is dead, Conrad.
Yeah, that's true. But let's also acknowledge that the Jamaican justice system has some very good aspect to it, and certainly we have seen a lot of movement in a positive way, especially since Justice BRIEN Sykes is at the helm as Chief Justice and so on. And we continue to disseminate justice or judgment of politics. No, not in terms of law, but in terms of, that's what you're talking about, that we need to put some laws in place.
Conrad.
Yes.
You should like coming on how much time?
Yes.
Eh?
Go ahead.
It's good to be here, yeah?
Respect. All right. Thanks a lot for today. But let us, what happened? The laws are made, but of course, the justice system that BRIEN Sykes is the Chief Justice of, he has been doing a lot of things in order to ensure that some of the backlog that we had basically moved. So we want to acknowledge that, because we are about acknowledging the good and the bad here in Jamaica, right? So we put that out there. As it relates to some laws that are on the book, certainly they need to be looked at, and we have to call on the powers that be, our legislators, to really look at how they fix that. The lines are open. 876-212-9824, 876-212-9824, and 876-0919. Those are the numbers to call. All right. So let's see if we can navigate and go through as we make our way up until the midday hour. It's election 2025, and the people are waiting and chomping at the bit. They can't wait for Andrew Holness to go to the poll to see how they will make their decision one way or the other. Could you turn down your radio in the background, please? I'm getting a wicked feedback there. Caller?
Hello, morning.
Yes, I'm getting a wicked feedback, Al. Please.
Right. Man, I remove from the area.
No, man, you have something there open or whatever, some door or something. It's killing my ears, please.
Mm-hmm. No, man, it's a truck pass.
No, truck not passing, man. You have something going on in the background, whether your car is in door open or in reverse or something of the sort. Yes,
Conrad, right, but I don't know what it is because
but say stop there now.
And I'm like,
Go ahead.
Right. Morning again. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Good morning, Al. Yes.
What I am saying this morning that I wish all the mothers who had their mothers to
Al, you know radio, man. You come out of the noise with the crowd there.
I am telling you, Conrad, I'm in my car sitting down.
And go ahead. There are lots of noise down here.
Cars are passing. Maybe I had the window up. Maybe I need to turn the window down.
No, it's not the car sound there. We're hearing like a lot of people are in the background, like you're in a place that people are speaking.
Well, maybe they have my phone.
Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. All right. Yes, Conrad. Blessings to all his Mother's Day.
Yes.
I haven't gotten that out of the way, Conrad. I want to ask a question. Is it an offense to be in Jamaica, a very small island state, and that somebody is appointed for a position, and on the basis of you and that person, you have a wedding and invite that person who you and him probably went to school? If that's an offense for an appointment, I need to know.
Well, absolutely not. That should not render anybody's qualification of being appointed to a position once the person is qualified. The person should be looked at and those merit and so on. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because if we're going to use that rubric, then very few of us would be able to get any position because you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, I ask you against the background, my friend, because what I have been seeing and hearing is that this appointment of Mr. Lawrence has sparked a great controversy in terms of him coming to the IC.
Yes.
And that it is seen as if he is a friend of the General Secretary and that creating a problem. And I ask this against the background because I am on the road, Conrad. I'm just coming from St. Elizabeth. And I was in Westmoreland. And people have been asking the questions. Why is it that we have been politicizing just about everything when the very leader of our country has friends and schoolmates, both from the secondary and the tertiary, who he has appointed in position that has sensitive position.
One of the big concern, one of the big argument out there is the chairman for the UDC, who is said to be the business partner of the Prime Minister.
Yes, that is one. And because of that, people are saying you can't get any rational policies in NEPA because all are investors and real estate developers. So the possibility of getting anything positive from NEPA in terms of status standard, in terms of environment, is a no-no. And I say that against the background panel, look at you through that. It's because at one stage, I don't know if it is the NEPA was at Jamaica House, right? In the office of the Prime Minister, where you have the Economic Growth Council, and it seems
it is still because what happened is it's under the ministry that is headed Minister of Portfolio. Without portfolio, Samoda, and all of those are housed in the Ministry of Job Creation and whatever else that is headed by the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Right. Now, Conrad, I say this at the thing about we cannot have the double standard.
Yes.
In terms of we wanted to maintain double standard in our country, a small state country, and what you have been doing is keeping out people who are qualified and are genuine with integrity out of the system and getting people who are not qualified in order to fill position. And this is a very dangerous state. This is what is happening in North America. In America, we have seen the appointment by the President of America with some people who were involved in all kind of things in the last election, right? And now they are filled in position, including national security and the army and everywhere. And it's the same kind of thing as if the ground is pressed from North America to Jamaica, and we are following those things, my friend Conrad. And I am saying we are going into an election, and by which I don't know why Jamaica is sitting back and allow the Prime Minister to be delaying the date of calling the election when he promised that Jamaica must no longer have to wait when the date of election for in the next 100 days. 100 days.
But the truth is that the Prime Minister is the one who still have the gift within him to call the election. And as far as the data is concerned, certainly he has a few months to go. So what you expect, granted, I'm in agreement that, maybe, well, let me leave the agreement part. But personally,
let me say this to you, Conrad, as we call down the road. The Prime Minister is leading this country, and it has never happened nowhere on the earth, with 21%. Not 91%, not 79%. 21%.
Yeah, but
right?
but while that is an observation, Al, but the election was called, and it's that percentage of the people that went out.
Yes, but minority does not exceed the majority. The majority of the people did not support the party, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, man.
But they did not.
Yeah, but we have been having that we have been having low turnout. But that said, I don't want to detain ourselves on that, because certainly even when the next election is called, I don't believe that you're going to have the majority of persons who are on the voters list will turn out. We're hoping for that. But, we operate in a system of first past the post. But certainly what I will say to you is that there's a lot of call for the Prime Minister to say, go to the poll. And one would remember previously when Mr. Simpson Miller was Prime Minister and there was a hiatus private sector of Jamaica came out and said that the uncertainty in the society is preventing them from doing business. Yes.
And I am saying that the uncertainty is louder today. Because everywhere you go, people are asking, when is the election going to call? And I am saying,
people are even waiting to book their flights.
Right? Yeah. Right, because people are going to travel for August. And what the people are saying, that the uncertainty in terms of Prime Minister is very loud, because guess what? He must know, if he has not settled his problem that he has in the party already, and if he cannot settle it, we can't wait until he settles it.
Well,
let me say we can't wait, because guess what? While people want to travel, people want to vote. And people who are abroad want to come home to vote, to go back to work. And the country wants investment to take place, and they're on hold. And the private sector, I'm saying this to you, private sector, I'm calling you again. You yourself are vociferous and full of vigor to call a Portia Simpson Miller and force her to call an election in February. 1 year ahead. Must now ask the Prime Minister a couple of weeks ahead, why will he not call election when he came out and said in the first 100 days the people of Jamaica will not have to worry because there's going to be a date that will be fixed date.
All right, Al. Thanks for today. When Ron, you have another minute. You want to close out? Anything else?
What I want to say, my friend Conrad, I wanted to ask the Jamaican people, in the interest of democracy, we are at a very pivotal stage in our democratical society, so-called, so far. I am asking you not to stay home and to depend on other people to vote for you. Your vote is your voice. And your voice is going to determine your children's future, or it will stagnate the future of your children. I am saying to you to go out and encourage your neighbor and your workers and your friend and your co-worker to go out and vote in this election. It is very important. This is what our forefathers fought for, and they have given us the opportunity to go out and to express ourselves. This is the only power that we have, and the people power is greater than the power of the government and any government in the world. Have a good and godly morning, my friend.
All right, thanks a lot, Al. Thanks, Al. Thanks for that. All right, let's see if we can get in one or two more before it closes. The number is 876-212-9824, 876-462-0919. I say hi to Claudette, who is on the feed here. We also say hi to Abo and Leroy Watt. A lot of people there basically expressing their kind regards. All right, so keep on giving me some top up on the screen there. You see, this is the situation, you know, when people make promises, it's important, especially when you're in government, to keep it, because this is some of the things that's really coming back now to bite the PM, you know. He talked about fixed election day, he talked about term limit for prime minister and so on. He has not fulfilled those things, because had he fulfilled, let's say, the term limit and fixed election date, we would not be talking about when the election went calling. We would know the date by now. And all of those things are things that the PM have to hug up, because he heap those coal and his own head in the interest of getting power. So he put all of them things out there, and when he get the job, what has he done? Hello, caller, welcome. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Conrad.
Hi, John. How you doing, man?
I am here giving thanks, man. Conrad, you know, we all lament and we are saddened by this brutal rape and murder of this baby girl. And it continues to happen in Jamaica over and over. And we have a period of outrage.
Yeah, man.
And
Kelsey,
then a week's time we're going back to normal. As if nothing has happened.
Yeah, man. Even when we have motor vehicle accident, you know, everybody reach from the spot and say, this is black spot and this is that and so on. And what have we done? Not a darn thing.
We have the life in Jamaica. People don't value life. I don't value material things. And until we other people can say, watch out, life is more important than anything else. We'll continue to have these things over and over. And you find the Prime Minister, you find MP, they find the church, come out and talk for a time, and then come back to the
And John, as you mentioned that, let us all remember this little boy down there in St. James that was said to have been taken out of his mother's vehicle and murdered. We are still watching that one, and we are very concerned. We have not heard anything because, as Jeff, hold on, John, because as Jeffrey would say, it's a part of the Vumva V and Vumva Va. So go, Jeffrey. You have to remind me. Go ahead.
You know, that was such a cruel act, and yet still, we hear about phone get conversated with the phone give up, and we hear nothing more about the case.
But a 12-year-old was arrested because he refused to give his password. This country is moving upside down. We need to fix
my
it.
brother, something is terribly wrong in our country.
And let me say something here, John. Let me say something here. Because you're a known supporter of the People's National Party. Big one. But let's serve notice. And Mark Jefferson Golden and the PNP.
I said it every day.
Let's serve notice on them, because it can't be business as usual.
No. Let them believe so.
It can't be business as usual. So I am not here behind the microphone as a PNP man. I am here as a Jamaican. Right? Yes. People can accuse me of whatever they want, and I have the right to vote for the party that I want to vote for. But you can't take me on when it comes to honesty and justice for all.
My brother, you have earned your trust. And because I've earned your trust, may you lick PNP sometime, which I'll be vexed. But we do say, we respect that.
Thank you. That's
yes, you have earned your trust, my brother. But I tell you something. Until we start putting life at the forefront of things, we will continue to have these problems.
Treat it secret as it is.
Become a certain friend. Start here tomorrow. No, tomorrow I go to
therapy.
No, I'm gonna do some radiotherapy, some radiation. So tomorrow I go to the place to find out how much they will charge me, the preparation and thing I did.
All right, we'll talk.
All right, yeah.
All right, all the best. All right, John, all the best there. All right, of course, we know that John has been struggling with a few little things here, but of course, you always have a very lively and bubbly John Pollock, defend his country, put out things out there, and want the best for his country. So we continue to hail him. We can take a quick one here. We have just about 4 or 3.5 minutes to go. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello, Conrad.
Hi, how you doing, Mr. Gray?
Why, you're seeing all what's going on in the world, sir.
Yeah.
Wars and rumors, horrible murder,
yes.
bloodshedding.
And we're also seeing the renegotiation of tariff where America and China has met and basically they reduced tariff. So let's see how that will happen, or what that will mean for the world.
Yeah, man. And you know, I disagree with him with immigrants, you know, because America's a country of immigrants, and you know, like preying on the weak, you know.
Yeah, man. And when you look at it, and Trump must be called out for these things. We broadcast it here in the newscast earlier, where he has basically signed a deal to bring in white South African immigrants in the United States. And somebody want to come and tell me that I'm no racist? Come on.
Well, yeah.
Anyhow, go back. Don't make me get you off the point. Make your point. I just had to say that.
Yeah, man.
Get back on the point.
Jamaica, election time, I come up, you know, and me tell the PNP look very organized, you know, and JLP attack campaign, which is the police issue, and it's the police force is a very large force, and you have just under that had police killings, which you know Jamaica have some rude boys, you know. And they said police, like I tell people, will be working if PNP form the government. And it's not police killings, Conrad, that reduce crimes. Because police been killing a long, long time. Mr. Adam Great and Chevu Kral, all kind of things. You understand? It's a series of factors. And I tell you, just commending the police is the people, to me, government and sociology, Republican, is getting the people to stop doing those things that really can reduce crime. Is never brute force. You understand? It's uplifting the mentality of the people to be tolerant to each other, to be nice, to be forgiving, and so forth. That really will reduce crime and in giving them opportunities in life to make good living. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when you look at it, you know, and I think we also have to I don't know, but we have to reach out and do a reculturing of our people, because I think it was tried before where a number of the windshield wipers, they were taken off the street. They're back out. We're seeing now where there's an announcement or it's argued that they want to take them off for them to get some training, and they're basically pushing back at that. I believe that it's a good thing to remove these young men, or to encourage these young men to get off the street and to take up the training opportunity. I think they should basically go work with training.
That. Mr. Michael Manley with free education, I tell you, training school, Tiago with art, you know. Remember, I tell people a while, you know, slavery was full employment, you know, but what was the workers getting? You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely, Mr. Gray. I have to leave you. Sorry about that. Have to go. All right. Let me say thanks to let me say. Oh, Mr. Gray, please let me say thanks to our partners, Fit FM, Caribbean Vibes Radio, the Mek Wi Talk YouTube channel, and those of you who join us on the CONRAD BRIEN YouTube TikTok page. On behalf of my producer, let me say thanks to our guests that join us today. Until tomorrow, stick and stay with News Talk.
The preceding hour was brought to you by Kenmore Manufacturing Company Limited, Greendale, Spanish Town, manufacturing in
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mek Wi Talk program. Want to say thanks to Colonel Brian. Let me get this up here. Let me get this out of the way because I'm so many devices that is being used on this thing here this morning. Oh, sorry. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Listen, I want you all to take note of what is going on in this country. And I have to come on. I plan to come on this evening at my regular time. But since I have the audience here, CONRAD program just finished, let me do this.
this country that we claim that we love. And I ask myself the question time and time again, do we truly love Jamaica? Or do we love the politics of our country? Do we truly believe that this nation can change? Now tell me something now. A 9-year-old was brutally raped and murdered. Raped and murdered by a well-known sex offender. And the Jamaican Prime Minister sees fit to go with a photo up down by the family house. If it was me that the family is there run him. This is not the first time this nonsense happened in this country. And neither Delroy Chuck nor Andrew Honest know a damn thing about it. Nothing has been done. And what they see is to go out there and have photo up. Take pictures. Check it up. We care. The government care. Care about what? Jamaicans. I don't come here to preach politics. I don't come here to tell you who to vote for or who not to vote for. But Jamaicans, the soul of Jamaica's democracy is in the two palms of your hands. Utilize it when the time comes. It cannot be business as usual. Jamaicans for Justice went out there. Prime opportunity for all of us to go out there with a placard, and we did not do so. Marlon Morgan is using the Mario Dean case for a political football. Mario Dean was murdered in the Barnett Street police station. And Marlon Morgan sees fit to use the political football by saying why Mario Dean died is because there was no bed at College Hospital. While Mario Dean's mother is trying to get justice for her son. How low can this damn man get? How many more of our babies must be murdered in this country? How many more Jamaicans must be raped and murdered in this country before this banana republic government do something about it? How many more must our babies be murdered in this country before this wishy-washy government do something about something? How many more must Jamaicans be murdered in this country? How many more? Make the sex register be public. If people from the upper end of society is on it, we don't care. Put their name out there. If politician names are on the sex register, put their name out there. How many more Jamaicans must be murdered in this country? How many more of our babies must be murdered in this country before Andrew Holness and Delroy should do something about it? How many more? How many more? Our babies are crying beyond the graves of this country. Our babies are crying out to we, the Jamaican people, to keep them safe. How many more must be raped and murdered in this country before Andrew Holness and Delroy Chuck do something? How many more? How many more? Before you, Prime Minister, had tell Delroy Chuck, no, make it public. You, Prime Minister, the blood of this 9-year-old is on your back, is on your shoulder, Andrew Holness. You allowed Delroy Chuck not to make this thing public. The blood of the 9-year-old is on your shoulder, Delroy Chuck. Andrew Holness. How many more Jamaican babies must be murdered in this country and raped by these hard-toned, grey-toned men? How many more? I don't feel good, you know. But I had to come on this morning. How many more of our babies must be murdered in this country? How many more? Good God Almighty in heaven, we put those people up there to pass laws for us. But when their friends and cronies are involved in some nepotism and cronyism, they don't want to pass any laws to affect them. Yes, my good friend, ABRTV. The system failed this young lady, this baby girl. The Prime Minister sit down in the Parliament of Jamaica and allow Delroy Chuck not to make this thing be public. The sex register must be public. I don't care who the penny, it must be public. And the Jamaican people must get up and demand that the sex register be made public. Who give him bail? Who let this nasty, dirty rapist out of jail? Who let him out? And now a baby is gone. 9-year-old. What do you see in a 9-year-old? What kind of man you is? And this Prime Minister see it fit now to go up there with all kind of cameras. He couldn't go by himself, you know. He couldn't tell his driver, say, look here, I don't want no media. Andrew Holness could say, I don't want no media around me. He and his wife and someone could go down there. But they want to go down there as if they care. They don't care about us. When will we wake up in this country and realize that these so-called wishy-washy politicians don't care about us? These fly-by-night, pitchy-patchy politicians like Marlon Morgan don't care about us. All they want is the money to put in their pocket. When are we going to wake up in this country? A 9-year-old is murdered in this country. The blood of the 9-year-old is on Andrew Michael Holness' shoulder. The blood of that 9-year-old is on Delroy Chuck's shoulder this morning. We better wake up in the country, you know. Jamaicans are not gonna tell you what to do. But Jamaicans no better wake up in this country. Jamaicans wake up. Jamaicans from Negril Point to Moran Point, you all better wake up. From Galena Head Mountain to Blue Mountain Peak to Dolphin Head Mountain Peak, Jamaicans wake up. It's not about PNP and JLP. It's about Jamaica and the Jamaican people. We, the people, have the power in our hands. We, the favorite few, we, the Jamaican people, must demand accountability. And we must demand that this Prime Minister must call the election. A 9-year-old is murdered on Andrew Holness watch. A 9-year-old is murdered on Delroy truck watch. But all they can do is go down to the mother with all kind of camera, chuck. On the pause. And I mean the Jamaican people not good. And we must wake up in this country and realize that they don't mean it's not good. How on earth can you have feelings for a 9-year-old? What kind of mind you have? You're a sick mental mind. And Delroy Chuck is a mentally sick man. Because only a mentally sick individual would never make that sex work to be made public. Only Delroy Chuck. Who calling my phone? Only Delroy Chuck. I don't know if I can hear because I set up a system, Hold on for me. Hello, good morning.
Mr. Jeffrey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just heard it on the news that the boy with the
yes, I know.
And the guy that raped and killed the little girl, they shot him in Clarendon.
Yes, I know. I know.
But yes, yes.
Thank
you.
Okay,
Then.
Okay, bye. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
You only can see it fit. How many more babies must be raped and murdered in this country before Delroy Chuck and Andrew Holness make the sex register public? How many more? How many more? I have 2 goddaughters, and I have some nieces and nephews. And I got to talk it right now. Anybody trouble them, I will move Blue Mountain Peak. I will move Dolphin Head Mountain Peak. Because if we don't name taxpayer money, these nasty, dirty men must name taxpayers' money. We do not see it fit to make the sex register public. But you don't all see it fit to go to the woman's house to take picture though. You couldn't tell your driver, Mr. Prime Minister, and your security guards behind you. Because you have 40 security guards that follow you as if somebody know you sitting. You never see it fit to say, look here, I don't want no camera on me. I don't want no camera going down there. No, but if you go down there with a whole barrage of cameras, chicklick, as if you care. You don't care a damn about us. YouTube, excuse me, I'm for search for say damn. I apologize, excuse me, please. How many more of our 9-year-olds must be murdered in this country? Andrew Holness, Andrew Michael Holness. How many more? My God Almighty. How many more, Delroy Chuck? No pray for that. Me not have no heart attack. So you not pray for that. How many more? How many more must be murdered in this country? How many more?
Ball out! Whoa, yo, yo, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out. From Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody. Man or woman.
How many more? How many more must be murdered before Delaware truck seat fit to go to the parliament and pass that sex register list? Make it public. How many more? This same government allow a sex predator from Washington, D.C. under Favored Williams when she was Minister of Education, allow a well-known sex predator from Washington, D.C. to come into Jamaica, all in the name of giving. And he was at the ward, in other words, where the girls' homes are. And he sexually molested must about 4 to 5 of them. And nothing came out of it. You know who was the junior minister in the Ministry of Education? Nestor Morgan. And you hear nothing more about it. You heard nothing more about it. How many more of our babies must be murdered in this country? How many more of our babies must be murdered in this country before the government of the day do something? How many more? And that is why this evening, the Mek Wi Talk program, See It Fit, we're going to bring on we're going to bring on opposition spokesperson and Justice Senator, the Honorable Donna Scott Motley. She will be coming on the program this evening. We have so many things to speak about. So hopefully we can have her to come on. We're going to speak about that. How many more Jamaicans must be murdered in this country? Don't worry about that idiot, because they can't come over here and talk, Them not have no... I wouldn't ban that idiot, because it will show you how uneducated that idiot is who is on the platform there, named Johnson. His level of the person level of education is done by Riverton Dump. That's the way level of education is done by Riverton Dump. How many more of our babies must be murdered in this country? How many more? This morning, we have a young baby, a young boy, who is in need of a brain surgery. Gonna cost the country, sorry, not the country, gonna cost the mother rather, $1 million Jamaican. And she has no help. She has no help. Hopefully we can get her on this evening to come on the program this evening to speak to us. Waiting on CONRAD BRIEN to give me a call pertaining to it. How many more of our babies must be raped and murdered in this country before something is being done? Before something is done. How many more? And all I can see from the Jamaican Prime Minister, and not one single female from the governing Jamaica Labour Party come out and said nothing about it. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Madam Juliet Holness, says nothing. Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn says nothing. Senator, what's her name again? The doctor there, Sapphire Longmore, says nothing. How many Jamaicans or how many of our babies? You can imagine how that mother feels? Can you imagine how that mother felt when she hear or when she find the body of her baby in a barrel? We have some sick people walking around. Some very sick people walking around amongst us. Very sick people. I want to encourage my bloggers who speak to me, who I can talk to, and who will listen to me. ABR News TV, you're a very good friend of mine. And I want to say something to all the other bloggers out there. We must be careful of how we come on platforms. I'm not saying ABR TV. Come on, I'm not saying her at all. I'm just in general saying something here now. We must be very careful how we come on our platforms and defame people. Because what we don't understand, for those who live in the United States, America has a cybercrime act that anybody in Jamaica, from they can prove that you have defamed the name, what I call it, defamed the name, they can get a lawyer up here to sue you. We must be very careful of what we bring in our channels. Is that everything you want somebody around come to you, we just check you and go on? No. We must be very careful. If you can't prove something in the court of law, the person decides to sue you, then your ass is grass. We must not go on our platforms and bring down an individual. We know nothing about the person. And because somebody may call us and give us a little news, we jump on it. We don't investigate nothing. be very careful of what we do. Be very, very careful. What I know so far in journalism school, that you have to vet the news that you're getting to the last T. Do a research. If ABR News TV call me now and say, Jeffrey, XQYZ, I say, all right, no problem, I investigate it. And I dig deep before I come up with it. You see somebody call me about a breaking news? You see, before I want that breaking news, I search far and wide before I want that breaking news. Sometimes the news you run too, sometimes you don't get it correct. We're all human beings. But we must be very careful of what we put out there, especially when it comes on to individuals. Especially when it comes on to individuals. Because you can be sued. And I mentioned the idiot, idiot I mean, and I talk about him. I'm not no sense. Him sitting wrong with him. We must be very, very careful. Because slandering a person, bringing on a person's character, it's not good. You don't tell me that. Don't tell me if I may use alleged and all those things. Not go so. But I don't know what law book telling you that. Me no lawyer. I am no lawyer. Alleged and whatever. I am no lawyer. You have to find out if what Tom Jones is saying is the truth before you run out with it. Because when a person decides to drag you to court or you're alone in a court, nobody on social media is going to help you. That's what I'm saying. Marlon Morgan can't continue to chat when you want to chat. Chat all when you want to chat. We have to search far and wide. Many of us haven't been to journalism school. Have never been to the door of a school to learn journalism. Many of us haven't done that. We decided to do it because the love of our country, but we have to be very, very careful. That is why I will come on my platform. I say, nobody will over here, sir. Nobody not sue me. So join us this evening at 7 p.m. Jamaica time, 8 p.m. US time. I may start the program a little bit early because I want to accommodate some people to talk about this young man who needs a brain surgery and to also talk some more about the little girl who was raped by this beast. And the Prime Minister sees fit to go out there with all the cameras in Jamaica. Every single news organization in carry the people in yard to take pictures because he wants them to know that he cares. He wants to be seen. You know, sometimes I wonder if some people listen to what I'm saying. Honestly, let me not go back over this. But I just want you all to know that we're coming on this evening at 8 p.m. US time, 7 p.m. Jamaica time. And let me announce it from now. You know who will be on our program this evening? ABR News TV. She will be on the program this evening with us. And we're going to speak to Senator Donna Scott Motley. And we also, after Donna Scott Motley comes on at 7 o'clock, she comes off at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Jamaica, 8 o'clock Jamaica time, 9 o'clock US time. We're going to continue the program with some more exciting discussion. So my good friend ABR News TV will be on the program this evening, and also with some other people. We're going to come on. We're going to speak about that young lady there, and also the young man who need a brain surgery. Hopefully his mother can come on the program with us this evening. I want to say thank you all for coming on. And once again, my condolences go out to the 9-year-old mother and family and brothers and sisters. Your daughter and your brother, or your sister or your niece should have never died the way how she died. She could be Jamaica's next prime minister. She could be Jamaica's next attorney general. She could be a professor. She could be a doctor, a nurse. And her life cut short because of a sick, mental deranged individual and a sick government, a sick, mental deranged government, a sick, mental deranged justice system, a sick, mental deranged government allow this baby to be brutally murdered and raped because they didn't do a thing about it. I'm not warning liberal bloggers, you know. I am warning bloggers who talk to me, who may speak to Wilfred Rattigan. I'm talking to bloggers who from time to time may call my phone and say, want JT, I want Mr. Tavares, or don't want to call me. Those are the people I'm warning. Be careful. Because we don't have money. Now, because it's a Jeffrey named Tavares. What is for Caesar belongs to Caesar. What if mama pupa? What if pitney, not so? Okay, read between the lines. We must be very careful. We must be very careful. I don't know person more than a heart attack, you know. Everything I heard with me. God now make me have no heart attack, Miss Daphne. Because I'm covered in the Almighty God. I want you all to know something too. That as we gear up for the election, Jamaicans go out there. The soul of Jamaica's democracy relies in our hands. We the people. We the Jamaican people. I will not come on this platform and tell you to go and vote for Labour Party or PNP. That's not my duty to do so. My duty to encourage you all to exercise your fundamental rights, to exercise your constitutional right, and it's to vote. Do not stay home. Get up, motivate, organize, mobilize, and go out and vote whenever the election is called. Get up and go out there and vote. Don't stay home. Do not stay home. I get to understand that the police has fatally shoot this despicable human being. I want to say good afternoon to a very dear friend of mine. I think she's watching the program. Lady Elsa Shakes. Good afternoon to you, ma'am. I want to also say to all of us on this platform that despite what we may go through at times, we must always, yes, ABR TV. Thank you. It's ABR TV. Yes, thank you. I want you all, despite all we may go through in life, we must always remember that those who have fought for the democracy of this country, they did so with a price. And let us go out there and let us fight for this nation as one people and as one Jamaicans. Let us rally around a single cause and a single purpose. And that single cause and single purpose must be that we, the people, must stand together. We must not be divided. That we, the people, must get up and vote when the time comes. We must not stay home. We must not stay home. God bless you. And may God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. My sincere condolence to that 9-year-old family, your daughter, sir and ma'am, brothers and sisters, nieces, aunties and uncle. Your niece has gone. Should have never died that way. And the state of Jamaica should be blamed. The government of this country is the one who allowed this to happen. And when I said allow it to happen, I meant by saying this. They have a duty, a sole duty. The government of the day has a sole duty to make the sex register public, that the people of this country can know who is who. In the United States, they make it public. A well-known Jamaican artist, Jeffrey, shut your mouth. A well-known Jamaican artist. It's on a sex register up here. A well-known YouTube blogger. He's on a sex register up here. I mean, I can't know him. None of my business. So why is it we are paying taxes in our country for them to secure our babies? And that man was allowed out of prison for the same thing. Is that the first time this nonsense happened in this country, you know? Is that the first time these things happen in this country? Not the first time. He was let out. And a couple days after, they raped some baby again. This happened again. This one come out and he go rape a baby. 9-year-old. But can I share for a 9-year-old? You couldn't go on a back road. We may talk about back road. We don't go back road. I'm go to New Kingston. Make them Jeffrey up on YouTube, be careful. Make them know what supposed to do it down there. Ladies and gentlemen, people, thank you all for coming on. Thank you all for being a part of the program. God bless you. United we stand, divided we fall. You're so correct. Yes, he has a mental issue, just like the people who govern this country, they have a mental issue too. Those who govern the justice system in this country, And the main one who have a mental issue is Delroy Truck. God bless you, Jamaicans. Keep the faith until you hear my voice again. Have a great afternoon. See you all at 8 p.m. US time, 7 p.m. Jamaica time. May you all have a great afternoon. God bless you all.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, Mek we talk, my people, Mek we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Mek we talk, people, Mek we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, Mek we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Mek we talk. People.
Unity is strength. Mek we reason. Mek we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Mek we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, Mek we reason, Mek we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, Mek we talk. Mek we talk. Unity is strength. Mek we reason. Mek we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Mek we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, Mek we reason, Mek we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, Mek we talk. Mek we talk.
Good morning, Jamaica. This is Mark Golding. Here's what's on my mind this morning. The fact that corruption is draining our future, and the truth is, most Jamaicans feel it, because nearly 66% of us believe it's worse now than it was 5 years ago. I believe trust must be earned, not demanded. And as Prime Minister, I will make integrity the standard, not the exception. That's why in April 2023, I tabled the impeachment bill in Parliament, because no elected official should be above accountability. Sadly, the current government has failed to look at that legislation, even though it was one of Andrew Holness's 100-day promises for the 2016 JLP election campaign. Anyway, don't worry. When the PNP forms the next government, that bill will become law. I will also look at introducing a recall system so that delinquent elected leaders who betray the people's trust can be removed by the people without having to wait years till the next election happens. Accountability is essential to building trust and confidence. But this isn't just about politics. The corruption at the top is part of a bigger problem, the moral decay in our society. It's reflected in how we treat each other, the callousness, the lack of respect, the everyday cruelty we see and hear about, the indifference to others that we've come to accept. That's why I plan to launch a national effort, not a political one, for Jamaica's spiritual and moral upliftment. It will be led by civic and spiritual leaders who have credibility and heart, not politicians. But the next PNP government will support it and protect it, because rebuilding our values must be a national mission. True leadership means being accountable to the people, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. And when we raise the bar together, we rebuild trust. And that trust is the foundation for real progress and real change. Trust must be earned. And under my leadership, that process will begin. Time come, Jamaica.
The One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation and its global supporters cordially invite Jamaicans abroad and abroad to its inaugural reconnection on June 21st, 2025 at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center in Kingston, Jamaica. Bring your entire family for a day of food, fun, entertainment, and information. Get an understanding of the Constitution and the skills necessary to exercise your rights and your civic responsibilities as Jamaican citizens. You can't afford to miss this inaugural Reconnection Rally, June 21st in Kingston. Tune in for further information and updates to Reason with Radigan on YouTube and reggaeglobalradio.com, Saturdays at 3 p.m. New York time and at 2 p.m. in Jamaica. See for yourself.
If you call it in May, you're going to get a beating. If you call it in June, you're going to get a beating. If you